The great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1: The Man Who Set Foot in the Realm of God. Yunfan is a Chinese scientist, now 40 years old. In the 23rd century, when science and technology are highly developed, and the average life expectancy of humans has been greatly extended to more than 200 years, this age is just a teenager. However, the achievements of this young genius scientist in the fields of botany and new energy are beyond the reach of many well-known scientists of the older generation. He is praised by the scientific community as the god of plants, the man who has stepped into the realm of God, and the father of life energy. No one knows that the reason why Yunfan has achieved so many achievements is entirely due to a mysterious seed. The mysterious seed came from an ancient relic, and no one knows when the seed has existed. At this moment, the man who is praised as stepping into the realm of God is doing experiments in a remote laboratory far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. In front of him, there is a huge and strange instrument running rapidly. He is concentrating on observing the state of the mysterious seed suspended in the air. The seed looks simple and clean, but there are some vague ancient patterns on it, full of the vicissitudes of time, and it is unknown how many years it has existed in this world. It's just that this seed gives people a very strange feeling. Yes, this seed gives people another feeling, that it has been dead for many years. But sometimes what you see may not be true. Others don't know that the reason why Yunfan has achieved his current success is because of this seed. He obtained a kind of vibrant energy from this seed through a homemade energy collection device. This new type of energy, Yunfan called it life energy. And this mysterious life energy has a magical effect. It can prolong the life of organic life. The shell of this mysterious seed is made of a very special material, which is different from any known substance in nature. What is it? Yunfan has been studying it for 5 years and still can't figure it out. This walnut-sized seed is somewhat similar to the body that is widely circulated in Buddhist scriptures. Yunfan called up the virtual display screen and saw that countless information flows on the display screen were changing rapidly. Ordinary people would only think that these things were a bunch of garbled codes, but these data were invaluable wealth in Yunfan's eyes. Yunfan pressed a few times in the air on the virtual display screen, and the data changed accordingly. This is simply a miracle of nature. According to the data, this energy operates in a way that has never been seen before. If the accurate trajectory is obtained, it should be able to form a perpetual energy system. What's more incredible is that the energy movement inside is somewhat similar to the fluctuations of life. If this energy is used on a living body, it may be possible to achieve immortality. Yunfan muttered to himself while his fingers flew, controlling the computer to perform various tests and calculations. If ordinary people heard these words, they would definitely think they were crazy and immortal. That's what many emperors want to have. It seems like a curse. It's always irresistible. At this moment, the direction that Yunfan wants to study can be said to have exceeded the understanding of ordinary people, and it can be said to be the realm of God. Yunfan took a deep breath and seemed to have made a very difficult choice, because even he himself didn't know whether this choice was right or wrong. He wanted to break the shell of the mysterious seed to see what kind of secrets were hidden inside. Ordinary physical methods have no effect on this seed. He decided to use antimatter for energy probing, and antimatter belongs to unconventional energy. He didn't know what consequences would be. Intelligent brain, start the dark energy reactor immediately and conduct energy detection. Intelligent number 1 and number 2 are responsible for monitoring and calculation. Report any situation at any time. You must know that this dark energy reaction is extraordinary. It is Yunfan's latest scientific research achievement. It is 1 million times the energy of ordinary nuclear fusion of the same dose, and has a high destructive power. Intelligent brain, monitor the abnormal energy activity of the target. The energy of the dark reaction is absorbed. What? The energy of the dark reaction is absorbed? How is this possible? Yunfan couldn't believe his ears. Only he knew how powerful the energy of the dark reaction was. Intelligent brain, The dark energy reactor cannot meet the target energy demand. The dark energy reaction may collapse at any time. Stop the dark matter energy reaction and terminate the energy detection. After hearing the report from the superbrain again, Yunfan quickly regained his usual calmness and immediately gave the order. Intelligent brain, the dark matter energy reaction cannot be stopped for unknown reasons. The current target energy has entered a dangerous level. The dangerous level is temporarily set at level 3. Yunfan was shocked again. You must know that the energy level of level 3 has reached a very high dangerous level and can instantly turn the moon into ashes. Yunfan quickly gave instructions to the superbrain on his wrist. Immediately reverse the antimatter shield. Start the emergency analysis system. Analyze the energy fluctuations at the same time and create a safety plan. With the activation of the antimatter shield, the alarm finally subsided. It seemed that the situation was under control. Yunfan was about to breathe a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, the alarm sounded again. The antimatter shield was affected by special energy and began to decompose. The analysis system cannot analyze the cause of the formation. Damn it. How could this happen? Yunfan felt that the short few minutes seemed to last a century. He hurriedly manually activated the emergency system to prevent the decomposition of the antimatter shield. Could it be that the dark reaction energy generated by the dark matter reactor neutralized the antimatter energy of the antimatter shield? For some reason, the reaction of the dark matter reactor increased rapidly. Sparks appeared in the instruments around Yunfan, and a series of explosions sounded. It is expected that many instruments have been damaged due to the load. Warning, the target energy trajectory has changed, and a new trajectory has been generated. The intelligent brain cannot calculate the new trajectory. Warning. The target energy has reached level 5. The protection mechanism is expected to completely collapse in 5 minutes. It is recommended to escape immediately. The energy level has reached level 5. How is that possible? Yunfan was extremely shocked. He did not expect that this seed could reach level 5, because according to international energy standards, the level 5 standard has already surpassed the equivalent of solar energy. What kind of secrets does this unknown energy trajectory have? Maybe it is really as the world says, that is the realm of God. What should I do? Yunfan is now somewhat at a loss. Once this terrible energy is out of control and completely erupts, the damage caused is unimaginable. Although the laboratory is built deep in the mountains, the energy of level 5 is enough to destroy the entire Earth and even the Milky Way. If the Earth and the Milky Way suffer a devastating blow because of himself, he will be a sinner of mankind. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, Yunfan has no time to care about other things. Intelligent brain. Convert the laboratory to space jump mode. Analyze the best jump location and try to minimize the damage to the Earth. Intelligent brain. According to the energy reserves of the laboratory, the maximum distance of space jump is 200 light years. Add restrictions to reduce the damage to the Earth. The final target is recommended to be the starry sky number 3 black hole. Black hole. What is a black hole? A black hole is a singularity with infinite density, infinite space-time curvature, infinite volume, and infinite heat in the center. It is a part of the sky that is empty, and everything within this area has turned into nothingness. Some people believe that when a dying star collapses, it will gather energy into a point, which will become a black hole. It will devour all the light and any matter in the adjacent universe, and the distortion of mass space-time makes it impossible for even light to be emitted outward. Even today, with the high development of science and technology, humans still don't know what is in the depths of the black hole. It seems to be a forbidden area for humans. Black hole? Exclamation mark. These two words made Yunfan lose his mind for a while. Intelligent brain. Are there any other options? After analysis, this plan is the only best plan. Yunfan shook his head and smiled bitterly, and finally gritted his teeth and decided, space jump target, starry sky number 3 black hole. Yunfan knew that it was an extremely extreme method to urgently transfer this dangerous laboratory into the black hole, but he had no choice. Intelligent brain. The laboratory space jump mode has been successfully activated. The laboratory began to accumulate energy and is expected to leave the base in 10 minutes. The space jump is activated. Please evacuate the laboratory quickly. Yunfan wiped the sweat from his forehead, turned around and ran towards the maglev garage. I hope I can still make it in time, otherwise. However, at this moment, the mysterious seed suddenly burst into colorful light, and the antimatter protection shield collapsed in an instant. Then the seed became like a black hole, completely absorbing the surrounding light and energy into its body. Yunfan was caught off guard, and was pulled over before he could even get into his maglev car. There was no earth-shattering collapse as imagined, nor was there a violent storm. There was only dazzling colorful light all over the sky, a black vortex, and in the haze, Yunfan vaguely saw the seed floating in front of him. That's it, I've tried my best. This was his last consciousness, before he fell into darkness. Chapter 2 Tragic Life Experience. The sky of the Oraba forest is always grey. The only thing you can see clearly is the 2 half-moons in the sky, which are like the sickle of Hades, emitting a terrifying and weird atmosphere in the middle of the night. The air is filled with the smell of rotting corpses from the 9 nether abyss, which is becoming more and more choking and pungent. Except for a few creatures such as black crows and owls, I'm afraid that not many creatures like this area. The harsh and weird environment and the unpredictable ghost weather. Various ferocious beasts live here, making terrifying and strange noises. Occasionally, some adventurers pass by here, and they can always hear the shrill howling, as if it is the sad song of the wronged souls of life, and the sound is shrill. Privately, people call this place the Death Forest. About 10 years ago, after Alkaline College officially declared the Oraba Forest as a restricted area of the college, the legend of the Death Forest will never stop. Some people say that the great demon king of Kuska continent, Bork Wilder, is imprisoned there. Some people say that the treasure of the Zul Empire, which was destroyed 100 years ago, is buried there. Some people say that it is a residence of the dark god Sakatan, and the secret of becoming a god is buried there. Legends are always just legends. Not many people tell the truth. After an unknown amount of time, Yunfan opened his sore eyes and felt that his whole body was about to fall apart. His head hurt even more, as if he was hit on the head by something heavy, and his head seemed to be filled with messy things. He looked around and saw that it was dark all around. There were piles of white bones scattered in a mess. There were also some unknown animals in the distance, making strange hisses. Hey, I fell into the black hole and really died. Is this the so-called Huanquan hell? Yunfan was disheartened. He thought to himself that such a great scientist like me died like this. It was really unlucky. If possible, he would quickly reincarnate and become a human again and strive not to be a scientist in the next life. When Yunfan was thinking about this, he suddenly felt a severe headache. After holding his head and shouting for a while, he felt as if he knew a lot of things. Dante. Who is Dante? I don't know how long it took, but Yunfan finally digested and absorbed the extra things in his head. But then he was stunned. He didn't expect that such a bizarre thing as the resurrection of the dead in the novel would happen to him, and he actually resurrected and traveled to a weird western fantasy world. Could this be the world behind the black hole? Exclamation mark. This is really a great discovery, but unfortunately, Yunfan's occupational disease recurred. Yunfan's eyes have slowly adapted to the dimness around him. He moved his hands and feet and put his right arm in front of his eyes. There was a black seal on the wrist, which made Yunfan feel a chill. This body is not his. He really resurrected. Although Dante is dead, perhaps because the soul has not dissipated completely, Yunfan received Dante's memory and knew some basic information about Dante's past in this world. Yunfan was reborn in a strange world called Kuska continent, a strange country called the Nurgle Empire. This is a strange continent of swords and magic, where aliens are rampant. It emphasizes the supremacy of force, adheres to the law of the forest, and emphasizes the survival of the fittest. Dante's parents died early. As soon as his parents died, because of some intellectual problems, that is, a little idiotic, he was abducted by slave traders when he was only 7 years old. After several transactions, Dante was sold to Alkaline College as a slave servant. Dante's life can be said to be extremely miserable and dark. Dante was 14 years old before his death. In Alkaline College, because of his intellectual disability, almost all slaves and servants bullied him. For the past 7 years, his job has been to help students dispose of potions that failed magic experiments. However, because he is easy to bully, almost many messy things such as serving tea, pouring water and sweeping the floor have been pushed to him by other slaves and servants. There are even students in the college who will use him to practice some magic or conduct some magic experiments on him. The cowardly Dante lived a life worse than death during these 7 years. His body was covered with scars, he ate food that was hard to swallow, and he had endless things to do. A 14-year-old boy was tortured day and night for 7 years. How cruel it was for a child. There were many times when Dante wanted to commit suicide, but he was so cowardly that he didn't even have the courage to commit suicide. How sad it was. Finally, the day before yesterday, he was accidentally beaten to death by Lady, who was also a slave, when he was trying to snatch his food. When he was dying, Dante didn't feel any pain, only a joy of being liberated. In this world that regards life as ants, no one cares about the lives of slaves. In the end, Dante's body was thrown into the edge of the ore of the forest by Lady as waste. Looking at Dante's life, Yunfan suddenly felt a little sour in his nose. What a miserable life this was. After understanding Dante's past, Yunfan looked at the slave seal on his hand helplessly and sighed in a hoarse voice. How can there be such a stupid boy like you in this world? But I'm also very miserable. Others are either reborn as the young master of a rich family or the son of an aristocrat. But how come I have become the most humble slave in the world? That's right, the seal in Yunfan's hand is the slave seal in this world. As long as it exists, it represents the identity of this person as a slave. No matter where he goes, he has no rights and will be arrested and sent back to the academy. Thinking about his current identity as a slave, Yunfan knew that he had no way to escape and could only choose to go back. Yunfan knew that the most important thing now was to find a way to get rid of his slave identity, otherwise everything would be a mirage. Just when Yunfan was thinking about it, he suddenly felt a trace of liquid-like things flowing in his body, slowly wandering around Yunfan's body, nourishing his body. Yunfan suddenly stagnated, and the image of a seed inexplicably appeared in his mind. The seed that he studied actually traveled with him, and now it is repairing its body. What exactly is this seed? Yunfan thought for a moment, but he still planned to leave this place first. He didn't dare to stay here all the time, because there was not only a bad smell around the ore of the forest, but also monsters often appeared. He didn't want to be eaten by monsters just after rebirth. Yunfan stood up staggeringly, and the sore feeling instantly swept through his body and mind. He felt weak all over. At this moment, his body was covered with scars. 7 years of torture had made Dante's body extremely weak. He ate inferior food, and it was often taken away by others. Without nutritional supplements, it was natural that he was like skin and bones. Lady, you bastard, I will make you look good when I go back. Although Yunfan didn't know what the flowing thing in his body was, he thought it shouldn't be bad. Maybe that thing was the foundation of his foothold in this world, Yunfan guessed randomly. Chapter 3 Return to College. Although Yunfan knew a little about this strange world through Dante's memory, Dante was just a slave with intellectual disabilities after all, and what he knew was very limited. For the sake of his future life, Yunfan thought it would be better to make a plan for his future life. Dante died, and he occupied his body. Now he is Dante, and Dante's slave identity did not disappear because of Dante. If he wanted to eliminate the seal on his hand, he must be a magician. It is impossible for a noble magician to help him erase the seal, otherwise he would not end up as a slave. In this world, the punishment for slaves running away is very cruel, so Yunfan will naturally not choose to run away stupidly, and now Yunfan is penniless. After thinking carefully for a long time, Yunfan did not think of any good way. In the end, he decided to return to the academy before making plans. Only in this place can he change his identity. Whether in his previous life or now, he firmly believes that knowledge changes destiny. Only in the academy can he learn the skills to gain a foothold in this world. Stepping on the fallen leaves and the charred land, Yunfan dragged his wounded body and staggered towards Alcoran College. After more than half an hour of walking, Yunfan walked back to Alcoran College from the ore of the forest. Looking at the silver light in the sky shining on the earth, Yunfan felt a sense of joy of being reborn as a human being, and the pride of having a great life in this world. Feeling that strange energy still wandering in his body, Yunfan thought to himself, I will definitely have good fortune in the future, after surviving this disaster. In his previous life, Yunfan could create a world in many fields. He firmly believed that he could do it in this strange world. Yunfan felt that perhaps with the different knowledge in this world, he could help himself and achieve research that had not been successful before. Immortality. Are the so-called gods in this world immortal? Yunfan didn't know what the seed in his body was, and he didn't know how much help that seed would have in his future in this world. He only knew that the seed had helped him repair his broken body. He didn't know that the seed was repairing his broken body and transforming his body at the same time. It even began to germinate because it absorbed enough energy from the black hole when it traveled through. The Alkaline Academy of the Nurgle Empire covers a large area and is famous in the Empire. It is the cradle of the Empire's magicians and warriors. The Magic Academy is divided into the Light Department, Dark Department, Earth Department, Thunder Department, Fire Department, Water Department, Wind Department, Summoning Department, Space Department and Alchemy Department, and each department has an independent teaching building, library, laboratory, trial field, living area. The whole academy is like a small city. After Dante was sold as a slave, he has been living in the Dark Department. Because the Dark Department often deals with dark creatures such as skeletons and rotten corpses, many people who don't know it are accustomed to calling it the Dead Spirit Department. But in fact, the real situation is not like this. The legendary evil necromancer is just a branch of the Dark Department. Because the necromancer desecrated corpses and souls, and was hated by the gods, the dark magic was excluded by other departments. The dark magic has been in decline for many years, and the students of the Dark Department are also the weakest department in Alkaline College. After 7 years of slavery in the college, Dante was in the weakest and most unpopular Dark Department. Coupled with his intellectual disability, he suffered from contempt and bullying for 7 years, and lived in pain and fear every day. Yunfan followed Dante's memory and secretly returned to his residence from the path behind the college. Because it was late at night, the students had rested early. Generally, only patrolling magic teachers would walk around the campus. In addition, the road that Yunfan took was very remote, so Yunfan did not meet anyone along the way. On the way, Yunfan carefully observed the surroundings and found that the architectural layout of this college was like the style of Western European countries in the 17th and 18th centuries on Earth. After half an hour, Yunfan finally returned to the place where Dante, a student of the Dark Department of Alkaline College, lived. Dante lived in a warehouse with a lot of mess. The warehouse was where the students of the Dark Department stored their discarded sundries. In today's words, it was a garbage dump. This was completely in line with his identity as a menial slave. Yunfan couldn't help but smile bitterly and said to himself, I didn't expect that I would throw away so much garbage after being dead for a day. The warehouse was not big to begin with. In addition to some messy garbage, there was only a small wooden bed. Even this small bed was now filled with garbage because students never paid attention to it when they threw it around. Dante worked until night every day. The first thing he did after returning was to take the garbage off his small bed, otherwise he would have to sleep on the garbage. And waiting for the next morning, he had to deal with the garbage, otherwise he would have no place to sleep in less than 3 days. Yunfan arrived at the hut and looked at the warehouse that looked like a garbage dump. He felt deeply sorry for the poor boy. Millimeters. Dante, how did you live these 7 years? If it were me, I would have been driven crazy in a month. The air in the warehouse was so bad that even opening the window didn't help much. Yunfan couldn't help but frown and cover his nostrils with his fingers. The abandoned garbage mountain exuded a foul smell. There was a lot of garbage piled on the small bed as usual, and the amount was even more than before. It seemed that Dante's death did not attract the attention of others. Too tired, Yunfan couldn't care so much. Dragging his tired body, Yunfan turned over the pile of garbage and finally came to the small bed. Like Dante, Ji Yunfan first tidied the small bed and then followed his memory to take out Dante's treasured delicious black bread from the box under the small wooden bed. Looking at the black bread that was already a little moldy, Ji Yunfan stuffed it directly into his mouth. He hadn't eaten for 2 whole days and he was too hungry now. Ahem. Ji Yunfan choked because he ate too fast. He hurried out to the well, picked up a bowl of water, and drank a mouthful of water before he could swallow it. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but feel a little sour in his heart. In the message Dante left for him, Dante's dream was just to eat a piece of white bread every day, to be able to fill his stomach, and no one would bully him. Ji Yunfan is not Dante, and his dream is naturally not Ji Yunfan's. As a former favored child of heaven, he has his own pride. Lying on the small wooden bed, smelling the pungent smell, he said viciously, I don't want to continue to suffer this kind of punishment. Dante, I occupy your body, and in the future, let this name shock the world. At this moment, Ji Yunfan was also tired. He closed his eyes and fell asleep. The next morning, Ji Yunfan woke up. He was surprised to find that his body had fully recovered. Ji Yunfan's physical quality was even stronger than at the beginning. It was expected that it was the effect of that strange energy. Ji Yunfan got up so early to deal with the garbage. He dragged the discarded garbage out of the warehouse and bypassed the living building. Because it was still early, the students had not gotten up yet, so Ji Yunfan did not meet anyone. Ji Yunfan slowly walked towards the garbage disposal plant. Dante often came here to clean and was very familiar with it, so he knew exactly where the garbage disposal plant was. Chapter 4, How to Get Rid of Slavery. Because of the decline of the dark department, the number of students is much less than that of other departments. Therefore, each student almost has an independent room, and the space inside is even wide enough, and the living facilities are all available. Compared with the warehouse where Dante lives, it is a world of difference. Ji Yunfan didn't care to appreciate the student's living area at this moment. Because he hadn't taken out the garbage for 2 days, his place had piled up like a mountain, which made Ji Yunfan, a guy with mild misophobia, almost intolerable. If he hadn't been too tired yesterday, he really couldn't live in the warehouse like a pigsty. After 4 back and forth trips, Ji Yunfan finally disposed of all the garbage. Looking at the time, according to the regulations of the academy, it was time for the servants to receive black bread every day. Although Ji Yunfan didn't like the taste of black bread, he had no choice now in order not to go hungry. Ji Yunfan just came to the place where he received black bread and caused another servant boy to exclaim, "It's Dante. His undead is here." Ji Yunfan turned around and found that the exclaiming boy was Lidi, who snatched black bread from Dante and accidentally killed Dante. Dante is not a ghost. I can feel his breath. A slave servant not far from Ji Yunfan said. The servants in the academy are also divided into different levels. There are slaves like Dante who were sold directly to the academy, free people like Lidi who were sent to the academy by their families to do odd jobs, and senior servants who have worked for a long time. Since he is not a ghost, it's good. Lidi breathed a long sigh of relief. When he thought that he could continue to exploit Dante, Lidi showed a smile on his face. "But, you bastard boy, you dare to pretend to be a ghost to scare me. Your bread is my compensation." Lidi looked at Ji Yunfan, who had just received the black bread from the steward, and suddenly stretched out his hand. "Get out." Ji Yunfan was not Dante, so it was impossible for him to let Lidi go against him. Ji Yunfan kicked Lidi in the stomach. "Ah!" Lidi, who was caught off guard, screamed, and then curled up on the ground and groaned. Lidi had a terrible stomachache. Just as he was about to stand up, he felt another stomachache. He couldn't help but yelled ouch and fell to the ground again. It turned out that Ji Yunfan didn't let Lidi go after he fell to the ground. Instead, he kicked Lidi again. Lidi didn't like Lidi, who often snatched Dante's bread. Ji Yunfan didn't want to cause trouble for himself because of his kindness. Since he had to live in this cruel world, he must not be soft-hearted. If Lidi was given a chance, he would probably attack him immediately. Ji Yunfan directly pulled the other's black bread from Lidi's hand. "These black breads are mine," Ji Yunfan said, and walked out with the bread. For a moment, the stewards and slave servants looked at Ji Yunfan's back in disbelief. Ji Yunfan's reaction was too strong. completely different from the usual Dante, far beyond their expectations. Is that man really Dante? Although the taste of black bread is not good, it is just like pig food for Yunfan, who was used to eating all kinds of cuisines in his previous life. However, in order to survive, Yunfan still stuffed the bread he brought into his mouth and ate it. Some questions will never have answers. Yunfan will naturally not bother about how he came back to life. Back to the warehouse, Yunfan poured a bowl of water. He was about to drink the water with the bowl. Through the rippling microwaves, he saw an ordinary face. This is his current body. Hey, Dante. A boy's voice sounded in his ears. Yunfan turned around and saw a teenager who was about the same as him. Through Dante's memory, Yunfan knew the identity of this boy. Vork, a slave servant with acne on his face, is the only friend of Dante in the academy. Like Dante, he was bought by the academy from Hash's market. What's the matter? Vork. Yunfan answered. Dante, you are different from before. What happened that made you change so much? In the past, you didn't dare to resist Lady, but today you actually beat him. Vork asked in a low voice. Yunfan lowered his head and did not answer Vork's question. After a moment, he said, Vork, how do you think we can get rid of this damn identity of slaves and servants? The first way is to work hard and make money. When you make enough money, you can redeem yourself. But according to my estimate, this will take at least 3 years. Vork glanced at Yunfan and said, the second way is to become a magician. The status of magician is very high. Even a magic apprentice is absolutely not allowed to become a slave. As long as you can become a magic apprentice, you can directly apply to the academy to get rid of your slave status. But this is probably a fantasy. Even people with magical talents will find it difficult to become magic apprentices without the guidance of a magician. This path is basically impossible. Yunfan nodded. He finally knew how to get rid of slavery. When Vork mentioned the first method, Yunfan directly rejected it. If he was asked to work for 3 years like Dante, it would be better for him to die now. However, he still has no idea about choosing the second method to become a magic apprentice. Now he doesn't even know what a magician is. It is definitely a long way to go to become a magician. Vork, do you know how the magic students in this academy learn magic? Yunfan asked casually. I heard from the students in the academy that he first learned meditation from the magic teacher. After a period of meditation, he can generate mental power. After he has mental power, he can sense a magic element and then use the magic element to construct the basic magic runes. As long as the basic magic runes are constructed and then the knowledge in the magic book is learned and the magic is practiced according to the magic spell, when the first level of magic is released, it is a magic apprentice. Vork thought about it and said as a matter of course. Then how to meditate? Yunfan didn't expect that he would ask so many questions with just a casual question. Meditation is taught by the magic teacher. I don't know. Vork shook his head. Magic sounds amazing. I must learn magic. Yunfan said firmly. Dante, you are just a slave servant. No magic teacher will teach you how to meditate. How can you learn magic? You should know that to become a magician, you must not only have great talent, but also need to go through layers of training. Even the children of nobles need great talent to become magicians. Slaves like us who have no freedom in life, have no hope at all. If there is no magic teacher, I can just eavesdrop, right? And how can you be sure that I don't have a talent for magic? Vork was frightened by Yunfan's words. He looked at Yunfan with horror. Dante, you must not have this idea. If other people know, they will beat you to death. Chapter 5 Stealing Books. At this point in the conversation, Yunfan came to Vork very friendly, suddenly put his arm around Vork's shoulders, and said to Vork with a smile, my brother, you won't tell anyone, right? Vork was startled, and quickly left Yunfan, saying in a panic, Dante, you don't really want to eavesdrop? We are in the Magic Academy now, and we don't have to pay any tuition. This is really a unique advantage. If we don't learn some magic, how can we say that we are from Alkaline Academy when we go out in the future? Dante, we are just slaves and servants. As long as we can have enough food and not be beaten every day, it's okay. It's impossible to become a magician. Vork felt that Yunfan was joking with him. Dante, you must be joking now, right? But then again, Dante, you are really a little different now. You never thought about it before, let alone said such bad things. I'm not thinking about it. As the sun rose, the students of the dark department hurriedly finished their breakfast and walked to the dark department's teaching building. However, ever since Vok heard Yunfan's treasonous words, he has been panicking and worried. In the corridor of the dark department's teaching building, there are many portraits of celebrities who graduated from the dark department of Alkaline College. Each of these portraits is lifelike. You have to know that these people were once the pride of the dark department. Although times have changed, they are still remembered. Dante's job today is to clean the dust off these portraits. Not long after Dante was sold to the academy, the job of cleaning the portraits fell on him. At that time, Dante was pitifully short and had to carry a small ladder to complete the arduous task. Now he can complete it just by tiptoeing. Yunfan was standing next to a portrait of a great magician named Hadesman, wiping the dust off the portrait, and suddenly said to Vok, "Vok, when will our portraits be hung here?" "Yeah, but it's impossible. What are our identities? We are just slaves and servants. We don't even have personal freedom. I'm afraid we'll be dependent on them for the rest of our lives. Who knows, we might lose our lives because of a magic experiment someday." Okay, let's not talk about these disappointing things. The class has started now, and I have to listen carefully to what this magic is all about. Yunfan interrupted Vok's words, crouched down and stood at the door of a low-level magic class to eavesdrop. After more than half an hour of eavesdropping, Yunfan had a new understanding of the magic system. The people in this world have a very different understanding of the world from the original world. One is idealism and the other is materialism. People in this world generally believe that magic elements are the basic material that constitutes the world. Spirit is the source of all power, and magic is the embodiment of spiritual materialization. Night fell, all the students had rested, and there was no one on the campus of Alkaline College. At this time, a sneaky figure appeared in front of the dark teaching building. At this time, the teaching building had already locked the door. You must know that at night, except for the magic teacher who patrolled the night, no one else is allowed to enter the teaching building. There are several big trees behind the teaching building. The figure shrank his body, like a skinny monkey, and climbed up the tree with his hands and feet, and then tiptoed to the window on the third floor and climbed in. If you look closely at the figure, you will find that the person is Yunfan. Although he had eavesdropped on many classes during the day, these classes were incomplete and lacked the most basic things in many places. So he decided to sneak into the teaching building at night to see if he could get some basic notes or meditation methods. Seeing that the window of a classroom was not closed, Yunfan was secretly delighted. He stood on tiptoe and put his thin body next to the window and looked inside. Perhaps because of the dark theme, the magic classroom was decorated in a mysterious black and looked very serious. On the walls of the classroom, there were some special symbols such as hexagrams. While the magic teacher patrolling at night was not paying attention, Yunfan hurriedly climbed in through the window. Many of the desks in the classroom were already locked with magic locks, so Yunfan naturally couldn't open them, so these desks with magic locks were directly ignored by Yunfan. After searching most of the classroom, Yunfan didn't find anything useful. Gradually, he was a little discouraged, but he was really unwilling to leave like this. Fortunately, God will not let down those who work hard. Yunfan found a basic magic textbook in the desk at the edge of the third row. After getting the basic magic textbook, Yunfan naturally didn't dare to stay in the classroom for too long. He was not sure whether the troublesome teacher on night patrol would come to the classroom to patrol. If he really met him, it would be tragic. According to the route he came, Yunfan climbed down from the teaching building. Before he walked far, he saw a white incandescent light coming from not far away. Yunfan immediately lay in the bushes, not daring to move at all. I saw that the light slowly came from far away. Yunfan knew that it was the magic teacher on night patrol who was patrolling the academy with a magic lamp. Maybe because he didn't think anyone would dare to come to the academy to make trouble, the magic teacher didn't patrol too seriously. When the teacher on night patrol passed by Yunfan, he didn't even notice his existence. At this moment, Yunfan didn't dare to breathe, for he was afraid that his whereabouts would be revealed. He waited until the magic teacher who was patrolling the night walked away, and then Yunfan let out a long sigh of relief and crawled out of the bushes. Taking advantage of the night, Yunfan sneaked back to his residence. Yunfan took out the elementary magic textbook he had stolen from his arms and read it with relish in the faint moonlight. Although this book is just a basic magic book and there is no record of any powerful magic in it, for Yunfan, a rookie who knows nothing about magic, this book is enough. Originally, as a slave servant of Dante, he was not qualified to learn the text, but because he was too honest, he had to do all the work, and because of some work needs, he really learned a lot of text in the past 7 years. All this knowledge is now left to Yunfan, so Yunfan can generally understand the text in this elementary magic textbook. Yunfan flipped through the elementary magic textbook and studied it. Unconsciously, Yunfan fell into an obsessive state. However, during this process, even he, a genius with an IQ of over 1000, still couldn't understand some of the terms in it. Yunfan sighed and put down the elementary magic textbook in his hand. He thought to himself that after all, his understanding of magic was limited to Dante's memory. Although the book was the basis of magic, if everything in the book could be understood, there would be no need for Alkaline Academy to exist. After thinking about it, Yunfan decided to continue to eavesdrop in the classroom. Through the textbook, Yunfan already knew that there were 7 magic elements in the world, namely white light element, cyan wind element, red fire element, blue water element, yellow earth element, purple thunder element, and black dark element. Magic element are a kind of energy that exists in space. Using magic is to make one's mental power resonate with the magic element energy of the outside world, so as to produce corresponding magic within a certain range of space. There are generally 4 ways to use magic, which can be through spells, magic scrolls, gestures, and magic arrays. At the end of the elementary magic textbook, Yunfan found what he wanted most: basic meditation. For some reason, when Yunfan saw basic meditation, an illusory character model suddenly appeared in his mind. The character model was actually built according to basic meditation. Yunfan naturally didn't know that the reason why this model appeared in his mind was that the intelligent brain and his soul merged into one when he traveled through time, and his soul already had some of the characteristics of the intelligent brain. Yunfan didn't dwell on these, and he practiced according to the model built in his mind. It wasn't until the next morning that Yunfan woke up from meditation. Yunfan naturally didn't know that other people usually need 3 months to enter the state of meditation, and how amazing his performance was now. Chapter 6 Library. Yunfan fell into a deep sleep while meditating. He was awakened the next day when the door of the warehouse was suddenly pushed open. Then he heard hurried footsteps. Yunfan opened his sleepy eyes, turned around, and saw 4 boys dressed as errand boys breaking into the room. After seeing the other party's appearance, Yunfan was shocked. It was Lidi, the lady who killed Dante, and was taught a lesson by him yesterday. It seemed that the other party was aggressive. Yunfan knew that he was looking for trouble with him. "Oh, it's Lidi. What are you doing in my room?" Yunfan asked calmly. "Don't you know what I'm doing here? You dared to plot against me yesterday. Today I'm going to let you know who you can't mess with," Lidi said viciously with his eyes glaring. "Lidi, you'd better not mess around. This is Alkaline Academy." "Ah, Dante, who do you think you are? You're just a slave servant. I'll just pay you some money, even if I beat you to death." Lidi had long been mad at Yunfan's behavior yesterday. Yunfan knew that what the other party said was not wrong. Although Lidi and Yunfan were both servants, Lidi was not a slave. There was an essential difference between Lidi and Yunfan. Lidi had personal freedom, unlike Dante who was sold to Alkaline Academy as a slave by slave traders. Because Lidi was not a slave, although he also did chores and was bullied by dark students, these students would not treat him like Dante. Although they often beat and scolded him, and occasionally used him for experiments, they would not ignore his life or death. If you kill ordinary people, it is a violation of the imperial law, and will be punished accordingly, but killing slaves only requires paying some money. That's why Lidi has always been so arrogant among the servants. Dante used to envy Lidi, because he didn't have to endure the inhuman torture every day. and servants like Lady can only find a little confidence in slave servants like Dante. So Lady has always bullied Dante. Hoo-hoo, Dante, you are so lucky not to die last time. But you shouldn't provoke me. Beat him hard. Yunfan jumped off the bed and easily dodged the attacks of several people. Yunfan was still very surprised by his own changes, but he quickly adapted to it, jumped forward, and knocked down the 3 guys dressed as servants in a few seconds. Lady and others never thought that things would develop to this point. They pointed at Yunfan in panic. You, and couldn't say a complete sentence. Don't you, I hate people pointing at me like this. Yunfan came to Lady in an instant, grabbed the other's finger and said, I warn you, don't mess around, you are just a slave. Lady said, holding back the pain in his hand and the fear in his heart. You know I'm a slave, so you should know that my life is worthless. If I kill the 4 of you, even if I die, I will make a fortune. Yunfan said grimly. No, we dare not trouble you again, just let us go. Lady and others were immediately scared out of their wits when they heard Yunfan's words, and they knelt down to beg for mercy. They were really scared. They didn't know how true or false Yunfan's words were, but they didn't dare to gamble. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Yunfan's tone was still cold and terrifying. Brother, we will compensate you the same way you say we should compensate you. Just ask you to spare our lives. My work will be your responsibility from now on, and I will do your job. Yunfan's eyes turned, and he thought of something, pointing at Lady and speaking. Yes, no problem. Hearing Yunfan's request, several people breathed a sigh of relief. Yunfan's request was not excessive for them, but they couldn't understand why Yunfan had to do Lady's work. Yunfan could do nothing at all. It turned out that, after studying the stolen elementary magic textbook, Yunfan had a preliminary understanding of magic, but it was impossible to study systematically under the current situation. In addition to finding a magic teacher, the best way to improve magic knowledge is to read books. This time, he got the elementary devil textbook, but it was just luck. Yunfan couldn't guarantee that his luck would be so good every time and steal the books he wanted. Besides, stealing books in the classroom was not a long-term solution. Yunfan still understood the truth that, if you often walk by the river, you will get your shoes wet. Lady's original job was to clean the first floor of the dark library. This was undoubtedly not a good choice for Yunfan, who was in urgent need of magic knowledge to supplement himself. Lady and others took Yunfan to the servant deacon, and made a job change in the servant deacon's surprised eyes. Seeing Yunfan walk away carefree, several servants who were dealt with by Yunfan began to grumble in a low voice. Lady, are we just going to let it go? I really can't bear to let a slave like him ride on our heads. We have to swallow this even if we can't. It's probably impossible for us to teach him a lesson. I don't know how this kid suddenly became so powerful. Although Lady's eyes flashed with unwillingness, he couldn't find a way to deal with Yunfan for a while. Although he can't beat him, there are people who can beat him. Although Yunfan is very skilled, if he provokes a magic apprentice, that kid is not a fool. How could he provoke a magic apprentice? Lady patted the servant beside him unhappily and said, let that kid be proud for a while. There is a long way to go. We will definitely have a chance to deal with him in the future. Yunfan was full of joy at the moment. Naturally, he didn't know that the servants were trying every means to set up a trap to frame him, but even if he knew, he wouldn't care. From the next day, Yunfan started cleaning the library. The tasks in the library were not too heavy. Every day, he only had to clean up and tidy up the books that were messed up by the students. For the students, the knowledge they learned in class every day was enough, so only some top students or some magic teachers who needed some unconventional knowledge would come to the library to read books. Other ordinary students generally would not come, which was undoubtedly good news for Yunfan. As long as there was no one around, he would pick up a book and read it. Chapter 7 The Essence of Magic. As one of the 4 top colleges in the Nurgle Empire, Alcoran College naturally has extraordinary magic background and teaching staff. The library of Alcoran College is definitely the top existence in the Nurgle Empire. In the library, there are even many rare magic books. Of course, these magic books are not available to everyone. Yunfan is now working on the first floor of the library. Most of the books he puts are elementary books at the level of magic apprentices, but this is exactly what Yunfan needs most now. Although the library belongs to the dark department, it does not only have dark books. Of course, the dark library is still dominated by dark books. The books on the first floor of the library are considered to be common low-level books, so the college does not care much about these books, otherwise it would not arrange servants to sort them out. The library has been strictly protected since the second floor, and even borrowing has a set of strict implementation standards. What Yunfan did not expect was that after his rebirth, he actually had a photographic memory. All the books he had read seemed to be imprinted in his mind. Yunfan was naturally very happy about this ability. After reading for a period of time, Yunfan's understanding of magic and this world has reached a new height, even comparable to that of a real magician. Each element has its own unique magic. Water magic that uses the power of water in nature. It has strong attack and defense, but because it has the power of water, it has excellent internal injury healing and recovery capabilities. Fire magic that uses the heat energy of nature. Its nature focuses on attack and light defense. Its attack power is very strong, but its defense is pitifully weak. According to Yunfan's understanding, it is a reckless man in the magic world. Light magic, divine magic that can only be performed with the unique power of God. It has super strong defense and superior healing ability. Its lethality is relatively not large. It is known for its excellent healing ability and has a natural resistance to dark magic. Earth magic that is performed with the help of the power of the earth. Its attack power is medium to high, but its defense power is super high. It is the magic with the highest defense power in the same level. At the same time, because it has the power of the earth, it has a good recovery attribute. Dark magic. It is the most lethal of all magic. The focus of dark magic is the soul, which corrodes and causes continuous damage, but its defense ability is average, and it has a natural resistance to light magic. Wind magic. It uses the ubiquitous wind in nature as its offensive and defensive weapon. The invisible lethality makes wind magic deservedly win the title of invisible killer. The strange and changeable offensive methods often make people unable to defend. The biggest advantage of wind magic is that it has certain superposition in the ability to stay in the air. Thunder magic that uses the power of electric charges in nature. Its attack power is extremely strong and its defense power is very strong. It can be said to be the strongest magic. In addition, there are some rare magic systems, such as summoning system, life system, time system, space system, alchemy system, etc. Summoning system. It is quite special, with extremely high requirements for mental power. It uses mental imprints to communicate with different spaces, signs contracts with monsters from other worlds, and helps summoners fight. Its ability can be weak or strong, depending on the strength of the contracted monsters. Time system. It is to control time, but it is difficult to practice. It can stop time and speed up time. Space system. It controls space, can freeze space, and destroy space. Life system. It is exclusive to elves, and can control various plants to give them life. Yunfan learned from magic books that the release of magic on the mainland is classified into 4 categories. 1. Spells are sentences with driving force that are read out of the mouth, and magic will appear near the caster. However, the appearance distance will be affected by the range of the caster's mental control, and magic will never be directly cast from a living body wrapped in a soul. The effect on dead objects is much stronger too. Talisman/primers use the changes caused by talismans or primers to activate magic, and magic will also appear near the caster. This type of magic is pre-stored magic, without fixed coordinates, suitable for pre-control of mental force. For the influence of the environment on the magic element, this type of magic has much less impact, but some magic will be subject to extremely special restrictions. 3. Gestures use special hand language to communicate with their own magic, and magic will appear directly from the caster's hands. This type of magic mainly relies on the caster to give a given track to determine the trajectory of magic movement. Therefore, the actual casting is usually to give a straight line trajectory with gestures and mental control, or to make a curved motion by throwing. This type of magic is generally relatively simple to construct. 4. The magic circle is composed of various things, and magic will appear from the magic circle. However, according to Yunfan's understanding, if you want to release magic, you only need to meet 3 necessary conditions. The first point is that you must have mental power, the second point is to have a magic base, and the third point is to use mental power to build a magic base array to resonate with the magic element in nature. Magic, theology and science are actually common to Yunfan. Existence is reasonable. When the essence of magic is revealed, it is not as mysterious as imagined. Yunfan also found a way to communicate with magic element and build a magic base in the library. In addition, Yunfan also read a lot of literature and books about the customs of the Kuska continent, various low-level monsters and some legends. The Kuska continent is much larger than the Earth where Yunfan originally lived. It is indeed a mysterious world. Just as Yunfan was sighing at the magnificence of the world, a noisy quarrel came from a bookshelf not far from where Yunfan was. Because of curiosity, Yunfan could not help but walk over. I saw a beautiful girl with blonde hair and blue eyes staring fiercely at a greasy-haired boy of the same age, but the greasy-haired boy looked at the blonde girl with a flattering face. Princess Avril, what are you doing? This is a library. Stephen, don't you know what you did? Don't think that your father is an imperial earl and can bully the weak. The beautiful girl with blonde hair and blue eyes looked at the greasy-haired boy coldly. Princess Avril, I think you must be mistaken. I have never bullied the weak. The greasy-haired boy named Stephen defended with grievance. You still dare to say you didn't? Amy, do you think Stephen is going to do something bad to you today? The beautiful girl with blonde hair and blue eyes asked a girl who was dressed simply behind her. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, Fortune and Misfortune. Princess Avril, the girl who was dressed in a simple way was very hesitant at this moment. She obviously didn't know how to answer the question of the blonde girl. As a civilian student, she didn't dare to offend those nobles. You know, the anger of the nobles is obviously not something she can bear. But as a good friend of Princess Avril, she didn't want to deceive her friend. Amy, believe me, I'll make the decision for you. If Stephen really bullies you, I will definitely make him look good. Princess Avril said to the girl who was dressed in a simple way. Yunfan stood aside and had guessed what happened from the conversation between the 3 people. Although he still had a good impression of Princess Avril, who was full of justice, he couldn't help shaking his head and thought, Miss, you still don't understand the ways of the world. Don't you see the difficulties of your friend now? She is different from you. She is just a civilian who offended the nobles. I'm afraid that when you leave, this girl will face the crazy revenge of the nobles. Look, Princess Avril, I said I didn't bully her. Stephen said complacently. Asshole, I don't care if you bullied Amy or not. I must teach you a lesson today. Princess Avril raised the magic wand in her hand, and her other hand gently stroked in the air, chanting the magic spell. Stephen knew what the other party was going to release when he heard Princess Avril's magic spell, and couldn't help but change color. Before Princess Avril's magic was released, Stephen quickly stepped back a few steps and came to Yunfan's side. Soul piercing. What everyone didn't expect was that at the moment Princess Avril cast the magic, Stephen directly pulled Yunfan in front of him. When Princess Avril reacted, it was already impossible to withdraw the magic of soul piercing. Yunfan's mind suddenly went blank, and then a huge pain came, and his body trembled involuntarily. Is this soul piercing? This magical magic really has some tricks. It seems that there are indeed many things that he needs to learn in this strange world. Otherwise, today's tragedy may happen again. Yunfan lost consciousness all of a sudden, fell to the ground and fainted. Hiss. It hurts. When Yunfan woke up again, the pain came over him again. At the same time, a faint fragrance flowed into Yunfan's mouth and nose. Ji Yunfan wrinkled his nose and thought, I didn't travel through time again. After a while, Ji Yunfan suddenly discovered something wonderful. A mysterious energy flow in his body began to flow through his body again. When the mysterious energy flowed through his head, the pain didn't feel so strong. The originally burning nerve seemed to have a very comfortable feeling after being passed through by the mysterious energy. Ji Yunfan opened his eyes with difficulty, and what came into his sight was a pretty good room. Ji Yunfan rubbed his sore head and carefully looked at the situation in the room. I didn't expect you to wake up so quickly. It's incredible that an ordinary person was not killed directly or turned into an idiot after being attacked by mental piercing. A soft and beautiful voice suddenly came from a distance, and a tall woman with long wavy light blue hair came slowly from a distance. She looked to be about 25 or 26 years old, with rosy sexy lips, a straight nose, an oval face, and fair skin that looked very healthy. She was wearing a slim-fitting wizard robe that perfectly showed off her figure. The woman was flipping through a magic book with her left hand and holding an oval-shaped staff inlaid with a black crystal in her right hand. She said to Ji Yunfan, are you magic teacher Annie? Ji Yunfan asked uncertainly. Yes, it's me. What happened to me? You were attacked by Avel's mental piercing in the library, and then Avel sent you to me and asked me to help you. Annie looked at Ji Yunfan with curiosity. She felt it was incredible that Ji Yunfan could survive Avel's mental piercing. Although Avril had not yet become a formal magician, ordinary people could never withstand her mental piercing. Wait a minute, why do I feel the existence of mental power in your body? Annie exclaimed in disbelief, as if she had discovered a new world. Mental power. Ji Yunfan's expression moved, and he felt that his chance seemed to have come. Magic teacher Annie, I don't know what happened. It seems that, after being attacked by magic, I feel that I have become different, and everything around me seems to have become very clear. Such an incredible thing happened? Could it be that this mental piercing can also improve mental power? It is true that there are all kinds of wonders in the world. Annie murmured to herself. Magic teacher Annie, how is my body? There won't be any hidden dangers of insecurity? Ji Yunfan asked worriedly. According to the current situation, you should have generated mental power. I have never heard of this before, and I don't know what the difference is between mental power generated by such abnormal means and mental power generated through meditation. Annie has become interested in Ji Yunfan at this moment. Your name is Dante, right? I'm very curious about your physical condition now. I want to collect some data from you. As a reward, I will cancel your slave contract and even pay you a good amount of gold coins. How about it? Okay. Ji Yunfan agreed without thinking. Hearing Ji Yunfan's answer, Annie nodded with satisfaction and turned to walk out the door. Wait here first. I will tell the college about the situation and then come over to cancel your slave contract. Thank you, magic teacher Annie. Ji Yunfan looked at Annie excitedly and said. After a while, Annie returned to the room again with a scroll. Dante, I have already communicated with the academy. While I'm researching the relationship between mental piercing and mental power, I will allow you to temporarily study magic at Alkaline College as a lone student. All expenses incurred during this period will be borne by the academy. Ji Yunfan did not expect the academy to attach so much importance to this matter. Mental power has always been the most important factor restricting the emergence of magicians. Only those with mental power are qualified to become magicians. If we can find a way to awaken mental power besides meditation, it will definitely have epoch-making significance. Chapter 9 Vork's attitude. Seeing that Ji Yunfan's body had almost recovered, Annie took Ji Yunfan to her laboratory and did a comprehensive examination and physical data analysis on him. Oh, I almost forgot. I will release you from the slave contract now. After Annie finished analyzing Ji Yunfan's physical data, she saw the seal on Ji Yunfan's hand and clapped her hands. Annie opened the scroll she had just brought from outside, took out a magic pen, and started writing and drawing on it. Soon the scroll burned automatically. At the same time, the seal on Ji Yunfan's hand also gradually faded and finally disappeared. From now on, you will follow me to class. Although he was just a civilian, Ji Yunfan was still very happy. This was his first step to gain a foothold in the other world. Under the envious eyes of the logistics deacon, Ji Yunfan excitedly held the Alkaline College school uniform internship robe and walked towards his residence. He had to pack up and move. Although Ji Yunfan was only a borrowed student now, he was also assigned a small house of his own, and he no longer had to live in a dirty and messy warehouse. Ji Yunfan had just arrived in front of the warehouse when he found the door of the warehouse wide open. He couldn't help but be shocked. It is said that a broken home is worth a fortune. Moreover, the dirty elementary magic textbook was hidden under the small bed by him. If people knew about it, there might be unexpected changes. Ji Yunfan quickened his pace. He suddenly heard a male voice coming from the door. Dante, my friend, I didn't expect you to be so unlucky. You were not bullied by others just now, but you had an accident today. Hey. Ji Yunfan didn't continue to listen. He walked into the room and said, Vork, don't curse me. Ah. Ji Yunfan's voice scared Vork, and he couldn't help but exclaimed, oh, my god, Dante's ghost. Vork, I've told you several times, don't be startled, it will scare people to death. Ji Yunfan shook his head. Vork carefully looked at Ji Yunfan, and when he saw that he didn't look like a ghost, he boldly stepped forward. Oh, my friend, Dante, you are really not a ghost. You scared me to death. Okay. Vork complained in shock. It seems that what those people said was all false. You were not attacked by magic. Otherwise how could you still be alive? They are not wrong. I was indeed hit by Princess Avel's soul piercing, but I survived, and I got spiritual power because of a disaster. Ji Yunfan said to Vork half truthfully. After hearing Ji Yunfan's words, Vork suddenly fell into a sluggish state, and his speech was a little stumbling. What did you say? You were attacked by magic. You got spiritual power because of a disaster. Bingo, you are right. Ji Yunfan said, while changing into the Alkaline Academy school uniform internship robe. Bingo, what is it? Vork asked stupidly, as if his mind had not yet come to its senses. However, he suddenly saw Ji Yunfan put on the Alkaline College uniform internship robe and jumped up. Dante, are you crazy? How dare you steal the Alkaline College uniform internship robe to wear? If you are caught, you will die. Vork, my friend, you don't have to worry about me. This school uniform internship robe is mine, not stolen. I'm no longer a slave now. And because I suddenly have spiritual power, Alkaline College is very curious, so they want to keep me in the college to do research and give me the status of a borrowed student. Ji Yunfan said, while showing Vork the original location of the slave seal. Oh, my god, this is too incredible. Vork fell into a daze again. Okay, let's not talk about this. I'm going to move out of this warehouse soon. Come and help me. Move out of this warehouse. Yes, although I'm a borrowed student now, the college has arranged a new house for me. Vork didn't know how to describe his feelings. He was jealous and envious, and a little happy for Dante. Ji Yunfan didn't have anything, and the two of them just took one trip to get it done. Dante, when you become a magician, you must remember me as a friend. Don't worry. Just when Ji Yunfan and his friends arrived at the dormitory building for dark students, they happened to meet Lidi's servants. They were talking and laughing happily. It's great. Dante, that bastard, is dead. He should feel honored to die under magic. However, I still have to thank that bastard for taking over my job. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would be the one to die. Lidi said to the servants around him. The servants around Lidi saw Ji Yunfan's terrified look. Who is she? What's wrong with you? What's that weird look on your face? Did you see a ghost? Lidi couldn't help but push the servant beside him when he saw that he ignored him. The ghost. The ghost. The servant Uashi trembled and pointed at Ji Yunfan. What ghost? Lidi glared at Uashi unhappily and looked in the direction he pointed. However, when he saw Ji Yunfan's face, he was also terrified. Dante, your death has nothing to do with me. Don't look for me, even if you become a ghost. Lidi, who told you that I became a ghost? Ji Yunfan shook his head and turned around to leave. From now on, he is an apprentice magician. He and these servants are already people from two different worlds, so naturally he won't take them to heart. Not a ghost, haha, Dante, you are dead this time. I must report you to the academy for stealing the school uniform and internship robes. Just wait for your punishment. Lidi said with a grim smile. Ji Yunfan glanced at Li Di with a corner of his eyes, sneered slightly and shook his head. Dante, why didn't you tell him that you are already a student of the academy? Vork asked Ji Yunfan angrily. He and I are from two different worlds. Why bother with him? Two different worlds? Maybe Dante and I are also from two different worlds. Vork muttered to himself as he watched Ji Yunfan leave. After returning to the new residence, Ji Yunfan took out the elementary magic textbook from his arms. After reading it for a while, Ji Yunfan found that he had figured out most of the things he didn't understand in the elementary magic textbook. Ji Yunfan tried to communicate with the magic element, and it really succeeded. In the sea of consciousness, Ji Yunfan felt colorful particles like elves, and each color of particles gave Ji Yunfan a different feeling. Green is free, red is violent, yellow is heavy, blue is warm, black is violent, white is holy, green is full of vitality, purple is domineering, and there is also a kind of colorless particles. Ji Yunfan doesn't know how to describe it. Although he could feel the existence of magic element, Ji Yunfan did not construct a magic base. He did not want to make himself unhappy. The mental power could be explained by mental piercing, but constructing a magic base could not explain it. Chapter 10 It's your own fault. Ji Yunfan began to meditate again. The mysterious airflow in his body continued to roam around his body irregularly, transforming his body. Ji Yunfan felt very comfortable. While Ji Yunfan was meditating, the mysterious airflow slowly flowed from his dantian to his head. Unconsciously, Ji Yunfan lost his perception, as if he had fallen asleep. When Ji Yunfan woke up, he found that it was already late at night. The mysterious airflow in his body was still flowing irregularly, but his head seemed clearer, and everything around him seemed to be under his control. Ji Yunfan knew that this was because his mental power had increased a little bit, and those magic elements were closer to him, especially the colorless particles and green particles, which slowly flowed into Ji Yunfan's body. Wow, hahaha, it seems that I'm still a magic genius. I have improved my mental power so much so quickly. It seems that my magic affinity is not bad either. If I build a magic base now, maybe I can succeed, but I'm afraid that doing so will be suspected. Tomorrow I will go to ask magic teacher Annie how to perceive magic element and how to build a magic base so that I can practice earlier. It's not like now that I can do it, but I can't do it. This made Ji Yunfan excited and helpless. He thought to himself that since he couldn't build a magic base, he would continue to meditate. Anyway, mental power is the foundation of magician. Ji Yunfan took a deep breath and held his breath to meditate again. When he woke up the next day, Ji Yunfan thought of a very serious thing. His food source seemed to have been cut off. Ji Yunfan has now become a borrowed student of the college. Naturally, he can't go to get black bread anymore. The most important thing is that he is still penniless. Ji Yunfan said to himself helplessly, it seems that I have to find a way to make money now. If it doesn't work, I'll go ask the deacon to see if I can work and study. Ji Yunfan took out the black bread that Dante had saved some time ago from the drawer beside the bed and started eating. After eating the black bread, Ji Yunfan walked out of the student dormitory and walked towards the servant logistics department. Because it was still early, he didn't meet any students along the way. Before Ji Yunfan walked to the servant logistics department, he saw Li Di and the deacon of the academy walking towards Ji Yunfan. Seeing Ji Yunfan still wearing the robe of an apprentice magic apprentice, Li Di was delighted. He pointed at Ji Yunfan and bowed to the deacon and said, Deacon Mond, I said that Dante stole the robe of a certain magic apprentice. Look, he is still wearing it. He is so bold. You must punish him and let him know the rules of our academy. The middle-aged man, whom Li Di called Deacon Mond, couldn't help but frowned when he saw the apprentice magic apprentice robe on Ji Yunfan. At first, he didn't believe what Li Di said. In the past, no slave servant dared to steal the apprentice magic apprentice robe. Deacon Mond asked with a gloomy face, Dante, how did you get the apprentice magic apprentice robe on you? Deacon Mond, this apprentice magic apprentice robe is mine. I'm no longer a slave. He showed the part of his hand with the original slave seal to Deacon Mond. Oh, so you are the lucky boy that the academy talked about. Deacon Mond nodded with a little understanding. Deacon Mond, you quickly catch him and torture him thoroughly to see what he is really doing. Lady, shut up. From today on, your tasks will be doubled. If you don't do it well, you won't have to eat. Before Lady finished speaking, Deacon Mond said to him viciously, Sir Deacon Mond, you are wrong, aren't you? You must be talking about punishing Dante. You said the wrong name, aren't you? Lady asked with a somewhat ugly face. I'm talking about you, kid. No, how could this be? You must have received benefits from Dante. I must tell my uncle about this. Lady's emotions were a little out of control. All along, because his uncle was the chief deacon of the academy's servants, he had been smooth sailing among the servants. Tie him up for me. I want to hand him over to his uncle personally. Deacon Mond ordered the other servants in a cold voice. I wonder who dares to arrest me. You should know that my uncle is the chief deacon. If you dare to arrest me, you will definitely suffer the consequences. Lady shouted loudly. Unreasonable. For a moment, the other servants didn't know what to do. Didn't you hear my order? Arrest him for me. If anything happens, I will take the responsibility. Deacon Mond said angrily when he saw the others hesitate. After hearing what Deacon Mond said, the other servants hesitated for a moment and then made their choice and controlled Lady. Deacon Mond suddenly said, Dante, you have been working under me since you first came to the academy. I can't believe that 7 years have passed in a flash. It seems that your luck has really turned now. You must seize this opportunity. Thank you, Deacon Mond. I heard that there is a new borrowing student coming to our class. Borrowing student. The borrowing students in the past have never been simple. They are either the sons of earls or the sons of princes. Guess what the identity of the borrowing student this time is? It should be a very handsome young nobleman. A girl with peacock spots on her face, said like a fangirl. Even if a nobleman comes, he is not your type. Evilly, don't you look at your face? He will be scared to death when he sees you. Boys generally like petite and lovely girls like me. A girl who doesn't get along well with the girl next to her with peacock spots shouted narcissistically. Alva, do you believe that I will tear your rotten mouth apart right now? Iveli, you can definitely give it a try. Alva raised the magic wand in her hand. Am I afraid of you? Evely also raised the magic wand in her hand. At this time, a crisp female voice came from outside the classroom. Iveli, Alva, you two are messing around in the class again. The class is about to start. Go back to your seats. Evely, Alva quickly put away the magic wand in her hand and sat back in her seat when she heard what magic teacher Annie said. Teacher Annie, I heard that there will be a borrowed student in our class. I wonder what the identity of that borrowed student is. A very curious magic student asked. Chapter 11 Magical Base Construction. Actually, you also know this person. Magic teacher Anne smiled mysteriously at the students in the class. We know each other? Is the borrowed student very famous? Magic teacher Anne's words aroused the curiosity of the whole class. Just as the students were guessing the identity of the borrowed student, Yunfan walked in from the door of the classroom. The eyes of the whole class were all focused on Yunfan. I seem to have seen him somewhere. Many students thought that Yunfan looked familiar and said to themselves. Seeing Yunfan, Princess Avril, Amy and Steven showed a trace of incredible expression in their eyes. They were very familiar with Yunfan's identity. They just had an intersection with Yunfan the day before. He is a servant of our dark department. What's his name? I don't know, who shouted in disbelief. Impossible. When can servants come to the academy to learn magic? Another student responded in disbelief. You know, as students of the academy, they all have their own pride. They can't imagine that a slave servant can actually learn magic with them. Yes, Dante. He was indeed a servant of our dark department before, but it's different now, because he has awakened his spiritual power, so he naturally got rid of his slave status. Because I need Dan to help me figure out a research, Dan will stay in the academy as a borrowed student. I hope that the students can help him a lot. Magic teacher Annie said to the whole class. Many female students lost interest when they heard Dante's identity. He was just an inferior person who had good luck, and it was unlikely that he would have any great achievements in the future. However, there was an exception, that is Princess Avril, who released soul piercing to hit Yunfan. She never thought that an ordinary person could survive after being attacked by her magic, and he actually awakened his spiritual power in an incredible way. Could this guy be the illegitimate son of the goddess of luck? Okay, I won't say much about the rest. Let me see where to arrange Dante. Magic teacher Annie said to herself. Teacher Annie, let him sit next to me. Avril's voice suddenly sounded, and many students looked at Princess Avril in disbelief. You know, Avril has always sat there alone, and has never let anyone sit next to her. Almost all the male students looked at Yunfan with envy, as if Yunfan was the enemy who killed their father. Yunfan didn't care about these lucks at all, just a group of passionate young people. This magic teacher Annie hesitated a little, but seeing that there seemed to be no other place in the classroom for Yunfan, she nodded and pointed to an empty seat next to Avril and said, okay, Dante, you will sit there from now on. Yunfan looked in the direction pointed by magic teacher Annie. He didn't expect that he and Princess Avril were so predestined to be arranged next to her, and the elementary magic textbook he got in the classroom some time ago was taken from Princess Avril's drawer, and he got rid of his slave status because of her. Yunfan nodded to magic teacher Annie, and then walked towards the seat next to Princess Avril. I'm really sorry about what happened yesterday, Princess Avril said apologetically after Yunfan sat down. It's okay, Princess. It's not your fault. Besides, if I hadn't been hit by your magic, I wouldn't have awakened my spiritual power, and would still be a lowly servant. So I should thank you, Yunfan said with a smile. But, okay, classmates, stop talking. Today I want to tell you that different people have different perceptions of various magic element. Theoretically, humans can control attribute magic element other than special magic such as time, space, summoning, and life. However, this is only a theory. If this is really done, then this person's life will probably be ruined, and he may never become a magician in his life. So if we want to become a magician, we must first determine what attribute we want to major in. The main attribute of magician is related to many aspects: the affinity of magic element of different element, the magician's personality, and his own preferences. The sensitivity to different element is different. Light magic is mainly for people with faith and dedication to perfectly perform the magic it should have. Dark magic is mainly for people with self-belief to perfectly perform the magic it should have. Different element also have magic that deviates towards order or chaos. For example, the Sea of Fire technique tends to favor the user's self-belief, and the Thunder technique tends to favor faith and dedication. However, the element itself defines the user as being between self-belief and faith and dedication to achieve the best effect, so most mages who use elemental power appear to be particularly neutral. For you, the process of choosing magic as your major can be omitted, because you have already passed the magic screening and proved that the dark system is most suitable for you. Okay, among you, there are many students who have a unique family magic inheritance, and several people have been able to build a magic base, but most of the students do not have a magic inheritance, and are only at the stage of apprentice magicians. Now I will tell you about perceiving magic element, and building a magic base. So, close your eyes, and imagine yourself looking at the magic element in front of you. Don't imagine seeing with your eyes, but imagine that your brain receives the information from the magic element in front of you, and then creates an image in your brain. Remember that you must have a strong desire to see. If a vague feeling arises in the brain, and the carrier of this feeling can flow, then that is a magic element. Spiritual power is the foundation of a magician. First, you can try to use mental power to communicate with these elements. Of course, we control the dark element to enter the body. When the magic element just enter the body, we will feel a little uncomfortable in the body. Each element gives people a different feeling: dark, mysterious and cold. Control the dark element to enter the body, then you can feel the body is full of power. Finally, try to build a magic base. Once the magic base is successfully built, you will directly become a magician apprentice. Constructing one magic base is a one-element magician apprentice. 2 magic bases are a 2-element magician apprentice. 3 are a 3-element magician apprentice. And when 4 magic bases are constructed, you will be an apprentice magician. Chapter 12: Successfully Building the Magical Base. Everyone knows that there are only 3 first-level magics of any magic element. A 1-element magic apprentice can master the elemental ball technique, such as the dark ball of our dark system. Magic teacher Annie raised the magic wand in her hand and chanted the spell. Destroy the cold and arrogant dark element. Obey my call and come. Dark ball. At the same time, a black dark element ball appeared in front of her wand. After the element ball is formed, we need to use mental power to control the direction of the element ball and attack the target we want to attack. Yunfan did not expect that when magic teacher Annie demonstrated the dark ball, he actually simulated the whole process of magic demonstration by magic teacher Annie in his mind. At the moment when magic teacher Annie chanted the spell, a dark magic base in magic teacher Annie's body began to tremble. At the same time, the dark magic element surrounding magic teacher Annie also became active. At the moment the spell ended, the dark magic base resonated with the dark element in nature to form a dark ball. Yunfan nodded. He knew that his speculation about magic some time ago was actually correct. As long as the magic base in the body resonates with the magic element, magic can be released. The magic spell is actually just an auxiliary psychological suggestion. I saw that Annie, the magic teacher, controlled the dark ball to circle around herself and then hit the dark ball at a magic practice target not far away. Annie, the magic teacher, was quite satisfied that she could hit the bullseye. Then she waved her magic wand again and chanted, "Elves hidden in the darkness, borrow your power to form an indestructible sharp arrow, the dark arrow." At the same time, a magic arrow constructed by the dark element appeared in front of her. This dark arrow is the magic that the binary magic apprentice needs to master. The destruction is already several times that of the dark ball technique. As Annie, the magic teacher, said, she waved her magic wand, and the dark arrow hit the target where Annie, the magic teacher, was testing the dark ball technique. The moment the dark arrow hit the bullseye, the magic target was broken and pierced. Yunfan nodded again. He now understood that this binary magic was actually the result of the resonance between two magic bases and magic element. 2 points and a straight line. There is only this kind of magic base arrangement order, so there is only one first order binary magic, and there is also only one model of resonance of 3 magic bases. Magic teacher Annie quickly verified Yunfan's conjecture. First order ternary magic dark shield. Triangular element distribution. The magic class was over soon, and the other magic students were chatting there in 2s and 3s. Some were talking about the knowledge that magic teacher Annie taught during class, but most of the students were still there talking about the influential people in the academy and some small gossips among the nobles. Dante, classmate, magic teacher Annie said that she asked you to help her do research. What kind of research are you doing? A female student was still very curious about Yunfan, who had suddenly become a classmate from a slave servant. It's like this. Some time ago, wasn't I attacked by the magic mental piercing? According to common sense, ordinary people would probably die if attacked by magic, but I didn't die, and I awakened my mental power. Magic teacher Annie found it incredible, so she wanted me to study it for her. Yunfan repeated what he said to magic teacher Annie, but this time he didn't say the names of the people involved. It's really incredible. I've never heard of such a thing before. A male student next to him took over Yunfan's words and whispered, "Me too." Many students expressed their opinions. Princess Avril, who was sitting next to him, looked at Yunfan with a strange look on her face. Could it be that she had done a good thing by hitting the other person with mental piercing? The second class was a magic practice class. The students all came to the magic classroom dedicated to the practice class and practiced according to what magic teacher Annie said. In the class, apart from Yunfan, there were only a few civilian students who were still at the level of apprentice magic apprentices. It was not that they had low magic talent, but they did not know how to comprehend magic element and build magic bases before, because no one taught them. You should know that the requirements for recruiting noble children in the academy are not high. As long as they pay enough tuition, they can enroll. However, the requirements for recruiting civilian children are almost harsh. Only those whose affinity for magic element reaches 80 degrees of excellence are allowed to enroll. Of course, these civilian children will be exempted from tuition after enrollment. Yunfan sat in a corner and practiced according to what Annie, the magic teacher, said and his own understanding of magic. Although he felt that the green magic element and colorless magic element were more active than other magic element, he still chose to absorb the black magic element representing the dark element. What Yunfan did not expect was that when he absorbed the dark element into his body, the green and colorless element also flowed into his body. Yunfan felt a little incredible about this situation. He had read a lot of books on magic apprentices on the first floor of the library, but he had never encountered a problem like his. Yunfan didn't think it was a big problem, so he didn't think much about it and concentrated on absorbing magic element. When he felt that the dark magic element were almost absorbed, he began to empty himself. Comparing with the model of magic base construction just built from magic teacher Annie, Yunfan quickly completed the construction of the first magic base. However, what Yunfan didn't expect was that the green element and the colorless element actually formed a magic base autonomously. At the moment when Yunfan's magic base was formed, magic teacher Annie also captured the fluctuation. She looked at Yunfan with a hint of incredible expression. You know, even if she was known as a magic genius, it took her 5 days from feeling the magic element to building the first magic base. She still remembered that her grandfather praised her as a magic genius that was rare in a century. It only took Yunfan more than an hour from explaining the principles to comprehending the magic element and even constructing the first magic base. If he was a magic genius that only appears once in 100 years, then Yunfan must be a genius that only appears once in 1,000 or even 10,000 years. Chapter 13 Mental Test. Yunfan had no idea of the shock he brought to Annie, the magic teacher, because at this moment he was traveling in the ocean of magic. He felt that these magic elements seemed to have become his friends, and they were greeting him happily. Annie, the magic teacher, saw Yunfan's current situation at a glance, but the more this happened, the more incredible she felt. Yunfan's affinity for magic element was really too high, far beyond Annie's imagination. The release of magic is directly related to mental power, magic base and affinity for magic element. Mental power can be improved through meditation, and magic base needs to slowly accumulate magic element to build, while magic element affinity is theoretically unchanged. The higher the element affinity, the easier it will be to learn magic in the future and the easier it will be to release magic. The magic teacher's expression attracted the attention of other students in the class, and they couldn't help but cast their eyes on Yunfan. As trainee magic apprentices and magic apprentices, they already have a certain vision, and they already have mental power, so they can naturally feel the difference of Yunfan. Yunfan's talent has made many magic students deeply jealous. They can't understand how a guy born as a slave can have such a good magic talent and affinity with magic element. Many students are now thinking about how to humiliate Yunfan severely, and many students have begun to think about how to recruit Yunfan. Yunfan naturally didn't know about all this. At this moment, his mind has fallen into an ethereal state. The magic element can even be integrated into Yunfan's body without his guidance. Wait a minute, he is building a second dark magic base. Magic teacher Anne showed a shocked expression on her face. Fortunately, magic teacher Anne didn't know that Yunfan was building a green and colorless magic base at the same time. Otherwise she would definitely go crazy. Genius, genius, she can't find words to describe Yunfan now. After Yunfan built the second dark magic base in his body and built the second green and colorless magic base, he slowly woke up and opened his eyes. He saw that Annie, the magic teacher, and other students were looking at him in disbelief. Yunfan was shocked. Did others discover something? Annie, the magic teacher, what happened to you? Annie came to her senses and said excitedly, Dante, I didn't expect your magic talent to be so high. Maybe there will be a magic saint among my students in the future. Magic saint? In addition to Yunfan, many magic students couldn't help but exclaimed. How can it be so easy to become a magic saint? Throughout the ages, there are countless people who have the qualifications to become a magic saint, but there are only a few who can truly become a magic saint. Stephen smiled coldly and said secretly, how many people have been mediocre all their lives because they don't have enough resources? Stephen has now seen that Dante is the guy he used as a shield yesterday. He never thought that Yunfan would survive and have such a high magic talent. He is now a little worried that Yunfan will grow up and may bring trouble to himself or his family in the future. In order to prevent trouble, Steven is now planning how to suppress Yunfan or even find an opportunity to kill him. With this kid's qualifications, he can join a faction. You know, in the Empire, as long as you can become a formal magician, you can get the title of nobility. Once you reach the level of magician, you can be crowned a prince, which is only one level lower than the king of the Empire. Moreover, above the magician, there are legendary level magic saints, and each magic saint is the iron of an empire. Only with the magic saint sitting in the seat can you become an empire. Although the magic saint is not an emperor, his power is not less than that of the emperor. In the Empire, the Magic Saints have formed the Magic Saint Association, which even has the power to dismiss the Emperor. At this time, the magic bell rang. Dante, come with me to the office later. I want to collect your data carefully. Magic Teacher An said to Yunfan excitedly. After Magic Teacher An left, the classroom returned to silence. Yunfan looked around and looked at himself as if he were looking at an alien. I don't know why, I couldn't help but feel a chill in my spine. He was a little scared now. As the saying goes, the first bird to stick its head out gets shot. After her making such a fuss, I'm afraid many people will notice him. This is not a good sign. He still understands the principle of being guilty of possessing a treasure. But now there is no other choice. Damn it. The song ended, and the crowd dispersed. Yunfan no longer stayed here, letting others look at him like a giant panda. Yunfan cursed in a low voice, and walked towards the direction of Anna's magic teacher's office. At this moment, Anna's magic teacher was already sitting at her desk. After Yunfan walked into the office, she took out a golden alchemy bead from her drawer. This is a mental test especially made by alchemists, to test the strength of mental power. Now inject your mental power into it, and let me see how much mental power you have now. Yunfan knew the use of the mental tester by reading materials in the library some time ago, so he took the mental tester from Anna's magic teacher and then injected his mental power into it. Not bad. You already have 7 degrees of mental power, which is considered to be in the upper middle class among the students I teach. Magic teacher Annie nodded and said excitedly. After thousands of years of magic research, magicians have measured mental power with scales in order to more accurately understand their own mental power level and find magic suitable for their own practice. Theoretically, everyone has mental power, but mental power below 3 degrees cannot be used and expressed, so it is not accurate to say that people often say that they have mental power. To be precise, it should be that the mental power strength exceeds 3 degrees. A magician can improve his mental power through meditation. As long as the mental power reaches 10 degrees and the 4th magic base is constructed, he will become an apprentice junior magician. In theory, an apprentice junior magician can release the simplest 2nd level magic, but in actual operation, few can do it. Chapter 14 Amazing Data. PS. First of all, I would like to thank Woogwa for the reward. Magic teacher Annie quickly compiled Yunfan's data. Of course, this statistics is only for the dark attribute. Yunfan's other 2 magic attributes are unknown to Annie. Whether Yunfan has told this secret or not, in this world full of unknowns and dangers, one more trump card means he will be safer. In fact, Yunfan has already made a guess about the other 2 magic attributes. The green magic element should be the life magic element that comes from the mysterious seed and belongs to life and vitality. And the colorless magic element should be the most mysterious space magic element among the magic element. Looking at Yunfan's data, magic teacher Annie was more serious than ever before, and said earnestly, to be honest, I originally just wanted to see if there were any sequelae of the mental power generated by mental puncture. But I didn't expect that your magic talent was so high. I hope you can cherish your magic talent. Of course, I will also report your situation to the school and strive for some resources for you. Thank you, Teacher Annie. I will definitely study magic well and will definitely not let you down. Yunfan promised. In that case, then you can go back first. If you have any difficulties in the future, you can come to me. Annie said calmly. Steven, it's not a good idea for us to do this. After all, he is not a slave servant now. He is still a classmate of ours. If something really happens, Teacher Annie will not let us go easily. The students in the dark class said to Stephen hesitantly, "We are not going to kill people, but just to see what he can do." Stephen said with a slight smile like a gentleman, "And I will definitely not treat you unfairly after the matter is done." Okay then. Yunfan now had no idea that he had been remembered by others. After leaving the office door, Yunfan walked towards the training room. As the famous alkaline academy in the empire, although the dark department has declined a little, the facilities are still very complete. Each department has its own magic training room for the instructors and students in the academy to practice magic. Yunfan is not unfamiliar with the location of the magic training room, because the original owner of the body, Dante, has cleaned the magic training room more than once. "You are Dante?" Many servants of the academy showed incredible expressions after seeing Yunfan. "I didn't expect the rumor to be true. You really became a student of the magic academy." Yunfan was not prepared to greet these people. In Alkaline Academy, it can be said that except Thork, other servants had bullied Dante. He didn't want to have any intersection with these people again. Yunfan showed his ID card at the door of the training room and walked in. "This bastard, dare to ignore us?" a servant said viciously. Obviously, he has not yet reacted to Yunfan's identity change. "Wade, you kid, shut up quickly. Dante is no longer the same as before, and his identity is different from ours. It is absolutely easy for a magician to kill you. If you want to die, don't take us with you." A servant next to him suddenly changed his face and scolded, "Magician." The servant who was about to curse Yunfan just now became panicked. "We treated him like that before. Do you think he will come to retaliate against us?" "I don't think so. You know he is a magician now. Will he still hold a grudge against us little people?" The servant hesitated for a moment and said uncertainly, "I think we should stay away from him in the future. You know magicians should not be insulted lightly." Yunfan certainly knew nothing about the conversations of those servants, but even if he heard these conversations, Yunfan would just laugh it off now. There are many students in the training room every day who come here to practice magic, so Yunfan's later did not attract the attention of others. Yunfan quickly found an empty magic target, and then he stood in front of the magic handle, imitating the appearance of Anna's magic teacher, practicing to release the first magic of the dark system, the dark ball. "Destroy the cold and arrogant dark element. Obey my call, dark ball." At the beginning, he didn't find the trick. Every time he chanted the spell, he just felt the magic base in his body tremble slightly for a few times, and then lost its vitality. However, after several attempts, he found the problem. Then he attached his mental power to a dark base, and with the help of mental power, formed a dark ball the size of a dragon eye in his hand. Although he had seen others release magic more than once, when he released it himself, he couldn't help but feel magical. Yunfan imitated Anna's magic teacher and gently pointed at the dark ball, and saw the dark ball fly towards the magic target. Yes, it seems that releasing magic is not as difficult as imagined. As long as the mental power is mobilized, the possibility of successfully releasing magic is still very high. Yunfan whispered to himself. Yunfan released the dark ball 3 times in succession, and the dark magic base in his body became a little dim. When the dark ball was released again, the power was weakened by 30%. Yunfan quickly realized that this was because of his mental power. Yunfan calculated that every time he released the dark prisoner, he consumed about 1 scale of mental power. Feeling a little weak mental power, he was not ready to practice the dark ball again. He didn't want to be traumatized by overloading magic practice, otherwise it would be a loss. In fact, there are almost no students who practice magic like Yunfan. Because of the affinity of magic, the mental power consumed by releasing a magic is much less than that of other magic apprentices of the same level. Hey, but before that, I still have to solve the problem of food and clothing first, and then find a way to get some equipment. By the way, I can ask Teacher Annie, maybe he has some good ideas. Yunfan walked out of the practice room while thinking, and walked towards Teacher Annie's office. At this moment, Magic Teacher Annie was sitting at her desk, writing a lesson plan. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, which really scared her. Magic Teacher Annie raised her head, and then said in a loud voice, "Who is it? The door is not locked, come in by yourself." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. we cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 College Exchange Area. Yunfan pushed the door and walked into the office of Magic Teacher Annie. It's Dante. What do you want to talk to me about? Magic Teacher Annie frowned and looked at Yunfan in confusion. Teacher Annie, you know that I was originally a slave servant sold to Alkaline College. I don't have much money, so I want to ask you, is there any way to make money in the college? Yunfan said with a wry smile. Teacher Annie slapped her forehead and said apologetically, oh, it's all my fault. I actually forgot your previous identity. How about this? I'll apply to the school and arrange a job for you so that you can work and study. Teacher Annie paused for a moment, then continued, actually, if you can become a formal magic apprentice, joining the Mercenary Association, to form a team, to do some low-level tasks is also a good choice. Mercenary Association? Although Yunfan knew about this organization from Dante's memory, he knew very little about the requirements for joining the Mercenary Association. Does it mean that, as long as you become a formal magic apprentice, you can join the Mercenary Association to do tasks? Yes, as long as you reach the level of Magician Apprentice, you will have a certain lethality. However, as a magic apprentice, you can only become the lowest level F-level mercenary if you join the Mercenary Association. Thank you very much, Teacher Annie. I don't think you need to arrange a part-time job for me. I can now release the Dark Orb, and I'm already a formal magic apprentice. Yunfan hesitated, and then told him that he could release magic. You have already mastered the Dark Sphere so quickly? Although Teacher Annie felt that Yunfan had extraordinary magical talent, she did not expect Yunfan to master the first magic so quickly. Yes, Yunfan said, while chanting the spell, and released the Dark Sphere. Very good, I'm increasingly looking forward to your future achievements. Magic Teacher Annie had a smile on her face. Gurgle gurgle. Yunfan touched his head and said a little embarrassedly, Teacher Annie, can I lend you some money for food first? Don't worry, I will definitely pay you back when I have money in the future. Magic Teacher Annie did not even think about it and took out something similar to a bank card from her space ring. This is a savings card jointly issued by the 7 countries. There are 100 gold coins in it as a reward for studying your mental power. You can use it first. Thank you very much, Teacher Annie. Yunfan hesitated for a moment and took the savings card from Teacher Annie's hand. Now he was penniless and did not even have money for food, so he naturally would not care about face issues. Oh, by the way, wait a moment. Magic Teacher Annie seemed to have thought of something, stood up, and walked towards the cabinet not far away. I saw Magic Teacher Annie open the cabinet and take out a magic wand from it. The style of the magic wand is ordinary, and there is nothing special about it. Yunfan looked at Magic Teacher Annie with some confusion. He had seen Magic Teacher Annie's magic wand during class today, and this magic wand was obviously not the one used by Magic Teacher Annie. This is the magic wand I used when I was a magic apprentice. It is a 2nd level dark magic wand of general quality. Although I didn't use it later, I kept it for remembrance. Now I will give it to you. Magic Teacher Annie explained with a smile. This is not good. Yunfan hesitated again. He didn't want to owe Teacher Annie too much. It's just sitting there anyway, so why not give it to you and make use of its residual heat? Teacher Annie said jokingly. Teacher Annie, I owe you a favor this time. If there is anything in the future, I will definitely help you do what I can. Yunfan looked into Teacher Annie's eyes seriously and then said solemnly, okay, if I encounter any problems that I can't solve, I will definitely ask you for help. Magic Teacher Annie smiled slightly, and she didn't take Yunfan's promise to heart. She didn't know that, because of Yunfan's promise, she survived a life and death crisis. Yunfan made a special study of the grade of magic wands when he was in the library. He knew what Teacher Annie said about the general quality of the 2nd grade. The grade of all chemical items corresponds to the level of magic. The 1st level staff can strengthen the magic of the 1st level, the 2nd level can strengthen the magic below the 2nd level, the 3rd level can strengthen the magic below the 3rd level, and so on, until the 9th level. The quality of all chemical items is divided into 6 levels: inferior, general, ordinary, excellent, excellent, and perfect. Taking the magic circle as an example, the increase in magic power of inferior magic wands is about 10% to 20%. The increase in magic power of general quality magic wands is about 20% to 30%. The increase in magic power of ordinary quality magic wands is about 30% to 40%. The increase in magic power of fine quality magic wands is about 40% to 60%. The increase in magic power of excellent quality magic wands is about 60% to 90%. And the increase in magic power of perfect level magic wands is above 90%. Although Annie, the magician teacher, has a better magic wand in her hand, she did not give it to Yunfan. If she gave it to him now, it would be equivalent to harming him. If he did not have the matching strength to use the magic wand well, it might attract the prying eyes of others. She knew that the second level general quality magic wand was not a very good thing, but it was the most suitable thing for Yunfan now. Yunfan said goodbye to Annie and left the office with the magic wand, given to him by Annie. After leaving teacher Annie's office, Yunfan went straight to the Magician Association. He had to first certify his identity as a magic apprentice. Only when he was registered with the Magician Association could he be considered a formal magician apprentice and exercise some privileges of magician apprentices in the Empire. Because of the extremely special status of Alkaline College in the Empire, basically all associations have established branches in the college, and the Alkaline College branch of the Magician Association is located in the Western College Exchange area. Although Dante has lived in the college for several years, he has never been to the Western College Exchange area, so everything in the Western College Exchange area is full of mystery to Yunfan. The so-called exchange area is similar to the market on Earth where he lived in his previous life. There are many shops here, and many associations are located here. It is a place where students in the college exchange what they have. Some students take out things they don't need to exchange for some money or equipment they need. Chapter 16. Encounter with Princess Avril. Yunfan was like Granny Liu entering the Grandview Garden, looking here and there, and the words "I'm a rookie" were almost written on his face, so Yunfan's performance made many people's eyes light up. Little brother, come and take a look at the magic scrolls here. This thing is for saving your life. With this thing, you may be able to save your life at a critical moment. In front of a temporary stall, the boss pointed to the magic scrolls on his stall and sold them to Yunfan. Little brother, don't believe what this guy said. The magic scrolls there are all defective. They may not only cost you your life at a critical moment, but also bring you unnecessary trouble. If you want magic scrolls, take a look at mine. Although the level is not high, each one is a fine product. John, you bastard dared to ruin my stage. Do you want to stay here? You should know that my brother-in-law is the law enforcer of Zishi. The stall owner who was selling magic scrolls to Yunfan at the beginning, threatened with a dark face. The other stall owner's face instantly turned ugly after hearing the threat from this stall owner. As the saying goes, the county magistrate is not as good as the current manager. The law enforcer of Zishi has a lot of power in Zishi. If he really makes trouble for him, he will not be able to do business. Brother Mike, calm down. I just said it casually. How about I treat you to dinner tonight and compensate you? Yunfan shook his head and ignored the two stall owners. He turned and walked towards the living area. Little brother, don't leave yet. The price can be negotiated. The two stall owners stopped arguing when they saw Yunfan leaving. They raised their voices to try to keep Yunfan from leaving, but they ignored the shouts of Yunfan and others. Although Yunfan didn't know much about magic scrolls, he could still vaguely judge the quality of magic scrolls with his extraordinary perception of magic element. The things on the two stalls were not good things. It was similar to what Yunfan had judged. The best scroll on the stalls of the two people was only a first level general quality rocket scroll. Most of the others were first level inferior quality fireball and water ball scrolls. These things were still useful for trainee magician apprentices, but they were no longer of much use to Yunfan, who had become a real magician apprentice. The western living area was a small academy area, but because of the relatively rich resources in the ore of the forest, this living area was thriving, and it looked very much like the layout of a typical western fantasy game. There were all kinds of small shops on both sides of the streets in the living area. Ji Yunfan's target, the Magician Association, was not difficult to find. It was the tallest building in the center of the western living area. Just when Ji Yunfan stepped into the Magician Association, a female voice suddenly came from behind him. Dante? Ji Yunfan felt that the female voice was familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere before. He turned his head involuntarily. He did not expect that the person who called him was actually Princess Avril of the Empire. In addition to Amy, the civilian school beauty who had always been by her side, there were also several academy students that Ji Yunfan did not know. It turned out to be Princess Avril. I didn't expect to meet you here. I just don't know what you are going to do. Ji Yunfan politely saluted Princess Avril. Well, a few of us are going to build a mercenary team and go out for trials. Avril explained with a smile, and then asked tentatively, what about you? Why did you come to the Magician Association? Are you here to get the Magician Apprentice certification? Yes. Oh my god, it's incredible. You just played the construction of the magic base in the morning, and you came to the Magician Association to get the Magician Apprentice certification in the afternoon. In fact, Princess Avril just asked casually at the beginning, and didn't think Ji Yunfan could do it. It's getting late now. If you don't hurry up, I'm afraid the Magician certification will have to wait until tomorrow. Princess Avril, I'll go in first. If it was someone else, they would definitely try their best to show themselves when they got the opportunity to talk to Princess Avril, but as a new human in the 23rd century, Ji Yunfan naturally disdained to do so, and he didn't want to have too much communication with the royal family. What a strange guy. Although Princess Avril was a little curious about Ji Yunfan's return, she didn't take it to heart. Ji Yunfan's disregard for her made her feel a little uncomfortable. She never thought that one day, someone would leave her like this. Avril, let's go register for the mercenary team. Amy looked at the sky and suggested. Amy, why don't we go later? It's the same sooner or later anyway. Princess Avril stroked her flowing hair. Aren't you curious about Dante? I always feel that he has some secrets. Amy naturally understood her best friend's personality very thoroughly. Once she made a decision, it was basically difficult to change it. Amy said to Princess Avril with a wry smile, he is just an ordinary student. What secrets can he have? I think your highness, you think too much. He is not an ordinary student. After being pierced by my soul, he did not die or become a fool. Instead, he awakened his spiritual power. Aren't you curious? Maybe it was just a coincidence. So, I think we should understand this matter clearly. Avril said as she walked into the Magician Association. Amy and several other students naturally followed in. Welcome to the Magician Association. I wonder what the apprentice magician has to do with the Magician Association? A 17 or 18-year-old girl in front of the counter asked with a professional smile. It's like this, little sister, I want to get certified as a magician apprentice. Ji Yunfan didn't like to drag things out, so he said directly, oh, so you're here to get certified as a magician apprentice. In that case, please fill out this form first. As the girl spoke, she took out a piece of paper from the cupboard and handed it to Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan took a quick look and saw that it was something similar to a resume, so Ji Yunfan picked up a magic pen and filled it out. The questions on it were very common, and Ji Yunfan quickly filled it out. The girl looked over the form filled out by Ji Yunfan, and after confirming that it was correct, she led Ji Yunfan to a test room. Chapter 17 The Princess's Mercenary Team. The girl pointed to a magic target not far away and said, cast your best magic. As long as you can leave mark on the magic target, you will pass the test. Is it that simple? Little brother, what else do you want? As long as you can cast a first level magic, it proves that you are a magician apprentice. Didn't your teacher tell you that? The girl said as she handed a 6-pointed star badge to Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan smiled awkwardly. He was not very clear about how to take the assessment of magic apprentices. It can't be true. The girl was stunned for a moment when she noticed the change in Ji Yunfan's facial expression and couldn't help asking, in that case, your magic teacher must not have told you about the privileges you have after becoming a magic apprentice. After becoming a formal magic apprentice, you have certain immunities. Even if you kill a noble, you cannot be tried without the consent of the Magicians Association. Of course, our Magicians Association will not shelter any murderer. Of course, other people cannot hurt you for no reason, otherwise they will be sanctioned by our Magicians Association. Maybe because the girl and Yunfan were not much different in age, the girl chatted non-stop until the girl told Yunfan about the rights and obligations of a magician apprentice and found that Yunfan was looking at her strangely. She couldn't help blushing and asked impatiently, "What's wrong? Do you understand everything?" "I understand. Oh, by the way, our Magician Association will also purchase or sell some magic equipment and scrolls. Of course, the quality of these magic equipment and scrolls cannot be too low, they must be above average quality. Come on, little brother, let's see if you want something." The girl changed her impatience at the beginning and eagerly promoted it to Yunfan. This is a first level Earth Shield scroll of excellent quality. As we all know, Earth Shield magic is a magic with extremely high defense among first level attribute magic, and it can even defend against some second level magic. It is definitely very practical for you, little brother. How much does this scroll cost? Yunfan was really persuaded by the girl. It's not expensive, only 70 gold coins. Seeing that Yunfan was already somewhat tempted, the girl couldn't help but smile slightly. 70 gold coins are not expensive. Do you know how much bread you can buy with 70 gold coins? Yunfan couldn't help but speak. Little brother, are you kidding me? You are a magician apprentice now, but you. The girl didn't know what words to use to describe Yunfan. In her opinion, Yunfan was deliberately making trouble. She didn't know the origin of Yunfan's original body, and she couldn't understand the hardships of a slave servant. "Miss, this magic scroll is too expensive. If it's just 3 or 4 gold coins, I can still consider it." 3 or 4 gold coins? The girl's eyes widened, looking at Yunfan in disbelief, and said viciously, "Go away quickly, don't let me see you next time." "Miss, don't be like this, we can't make a deal, but we are still righteous." "How dare you talk about righteousness to me? 3 or 4 gold coins are not even enough for the materials to make a magic scroll." The girl was amused by Yunfan's words. Amy, I said it was right to follow in, otherwise how could I see Sister Anna make a fool of herself?" Princess Avril said happily. "Avril, you little girl." The girl roared viciously. "Sister Anna, please don't be angry, I just said it casually, how can you take it seriously? Tell me, little girl, what are you doing here? Don't tell me that you have become a junior magician and come to me for certification." "Of course not, Sister Anna, I just came to see him," Avril said, pointing her finger at Yunfan who was standing beside her. "Sister Avril, don't tell me that you are attracted to this little brother." The girl's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. "Sister Anna, what are you thinking about? I'm planning to form a mercenary team. I'm planning to have him join my team." When the young girl Anna heard that Avril was going to form a mercenary team, she couldn't help but change her face. "Little girl, don't do anything rash. Being a mercenary is too dangerous. I think you should give up the idea as soon as possible." TSK. Princess Avril pouted and said impatiently, "Sister Anna, it's easy for you to talk. I don't know who cried and made a fuss to form the Firefox mercenary team some time ago. Little girl, we are different. You are the dignified princess of the empire. Once something goes wrong, the consequences will be unimaginable. My sister was not either that year." "Princess, please be careful with your words," Anna interrupted Avril before she could finish her words. "Dante, since you have become a formal magician apprentice, I would like to invite you to join my mercenary team now." This thing seemed to be developing a little too fast. Yunfan had not yet reacted to what was going on. He hesitated for a moment and asked, "I wonder why Princess Avril wants me to join your team?" "There is no reason, I'm just curious about you." "Curious?" Yunfan was shocked for no reason. Could it be that someone else knew about his time travel? However, the other person's expression seemed wrong. Yunfan thought for a moment and made a plan in his mind. Since he decided to be a mercenary to make money, he might as well join Princess Avril's team first. Although the princess in front of him almost killed him from the library, this little girl is not bad. Okay. Very good. I will protect you from now on. If anyone bullies you, you can report the name of this princess. Yunfan regretted hearing Avril's words. Is this little girl in front of him really a princess? Could she be the boss of the Mafia? I don't know what benefits there are to joining your mercenary team. Benefits? Shouldn't you feel proud to join my team? What benefits do you want? Princess Avril raised her head proudly. Yunfan felt more and more that he should carefully consider whether he should join this little girl's team. Your Highness, I feel that my strength is very limited. Joining your team may implicate you, so I'd better not join your team. No, since you have already promised me, you must join my team, otherwise, Chapter 18 F-Class Mercenary Team. Yunfan wailed in his heart. This was a forced sale, but he had to bow his head under the low roof. Yawning, Princess Avril smiled slightly and continued, I'm the dignified princess. Follow me and you will definitely have a good life. Yunfan took a breath, nodded, and said, I hope so. Avril glared at Yunfan fiercely. What's the expression on your face? Don't you believe what this princess said? I believe it. I believe it. Yunfan hurriedly said insincerely. Avril pouted. Why are you so perfunctory? My princess, you can see it too. Yunfan whispered. What did you say? I said I have never seen such a kind princess. Of course, this princess is the pride of the Nigel Empire. Avril raised her head proudly. Yunfan. Sister Anna, I have to register for the mercenary team today, so I can't chat with you here. When you have time, come to the palace to play with me. Avril seemed to think that it was getting late, and then she said to the girl Anna, while pulling Yunfan towards the door of the Magicians Association. Amy and the other students from the academy also hurried out. Your Highness, please wait for us. Seeing Princess Avril leaving, the girl Anna showed a trace of worry on her face, and said to herself, no, I must talk to your uncle about this matter, otherwise, it will be terrible if the little girl really makes trouble. The location of the Mercenary Association is opposite the Magicians Association, so the two of them went out of the gate of the Magicians Association, and went straight to the Mercenary Association. At the door of the Mercenary Association, two warriors in armor stood on both sides of the gate like sculptures, which made people dare not despise them at all. Through the gate of the Mercenary Union, you can vaguely see that many people are standing in front of the taskbar and walking around busily. Whether they are magicians or warriors, they all want to find a task that suits them among the tasks assigned by the Mercenary Union. Next to the taskbar, there is a group of warriors standing there to maintain order in the Mercenary Union. At this time, in the secret reception room of the Mercenary Union, a magician with white hair and beard wearing a black wizard robe and a middle-aged warrior wearing golden armor stood opposite each other. Lord Albert, I don't know what kind of wind blew today to bring you to the Alkaline Academy Mercenary Branch. The middle-aged warrior in golden armor complimented with a smile. The magician with white hair and beard and wearing black wizard robes waved the staff in his hand and said gloomily, something happened in the Oraba forest this time, which made the leader a little uneasy. He hopes you can help him figure out what happened in the Oraba forest. The middle-aged warrior in golden armor hesitated for a moment and said, I'm afraid I can't help you with this matter. You know, over the years, many forces have been curious about the Oraba forest. They have sent many masters to explore, but the information they got is very little. Caesar, I think you will not forget how you became the president of the Alcoran Academy Mercenary Branch. The black-robed wizard smiled coldly. Of course I will not forget. If it weren't for the help of the leader, I would not have achieved my current achievements. It's just that the matter of the Oraba forest is too complicated. It involves the ban of the Alcoran Academy. The middle-aged warrior in golden armor said with embarrassment. The black-robed wizard said indifferently, Caesar, I'm not here to bargain with you this time. You have to agree to this matter, whether you agree or not. I think you should know the temper of the leader. He can make you successful or destroy you. What exactly does the leader want me to do? Caesar, the middle-aged warrior in golden armor, took a breath. President Caesar, the leader will not make things difficult for you. He just wants to use your identity to issue a mercenary mission. What mission? Caesar, the middle-aged warrior in golden armor, breathed a sigh of relief. Explore the Oraba forest. What exactly do you want to do? Don't worry about it, Caesar. You just need to do what the leader tells you to do. The black-robed wizard said expressionlessly. I hope you don't do too much, otherwise, I would rather die with you. Caesar, the middle-aged warrior in golden armor, had a bad tone and deep helplessness. He had made one wrong step and then another, and he had no chance to turn back. Don't worry. The black-robed wizard took out a piece of animal skin paper from his sleeve and handed it to Caesar. According to the tasks posted on it, I promise that I will never make things difficult for you. I hope so. The middle-aged warrior Caesar in golden armor looked at the black-robed wizard deeply and then left the secret room. Is anyone here? Come out quickly. We are going to form a mercenary team. A soldier-dressed academy student next to Princess Avril raised his voice. Come on, come on. A red-haired boy in his 20s walked in from the inner hall of the Mercenary Association. The boy was slightly surprised when he saw the faces of several people because he had recognized the identities of Princess Avril and the others, and then bowed slightly. It turned out to be Princess Avril. I wonder what the princess came to the Mercenary Association for today. Besides joining the Mercenary Association, do you think there are other things to do when you come to the Mercenary Association? The soldier-dressed academy student next to Princess Avril answered. The red-haired boy secretly felt bitter. Your Highness, and this young master, I think you'd better think it through. What are you still thinking about? Just go through the formalities for us. Princess Avril said impatiently. The red-haired boy hesitated for a moment, then took out a few sheets of paper with forms from a cabinet not far away and handed them to Avril and others. Several people took a general look at them, then picked up a pen and started filling them out. Because they only filled in some basic information, several people finished filling them out quickly. The red-haired boy took the forms filled out by several people, checked them carefully, and found that there were no obvious mistakes. He put all the forms away and then took out 7 F-level badges from another cabinet and handed them to everyone. Why is it the lowest level F-level badge? Did you send us the wrong one? Princess Avril took the mercenary badge and took a look, complaining a little dissatisfied. Your Highness, the initial level of mercenaries corresponding to magic apprentices is F-level. I will never send it wrong. The red-haired boy hurriedly explained. Chapter 19 Weird Mission. Well, that's it. Princess Avril pouted. Although Princess Avril felt a little unhappy, she still pinned the badge on her chest. Seeing that Princess Avril didn't ask any more questions, the red-haired boy breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that these young ladies and young masters would ask him to change their badges to a higher level. Your Highness, since you want to form a mercenary team, you need to give your team a name. Amy, what do you think our team should be called? Can it not lose the identity of this princess? We don't know about this, so you should give it a name. Or let's call it the Princess Mercenary Group. Yunfan shook his head slightly. Although he felt that this name was very rustic, he would not say it out loud. Let's call it the Princess Mercenary Group. Let me see what tasks are available. Princess Avril jumped and ran to the task release column. But soon Princess Avril came to the counter again. Are you kidding me on purpose? What kind of tasks are those F-level tasks? They are either delivering letters or looking for some random people. Are those tasks worth this princess personally taking care of? Princess Avril glared at the red-haired young man fiercely and said with her eyebrows raised. Your Highness, you must not be angry. F-level tasks are indeed like this. This is to make low-level mercenaries adapt to the life of mercenaries faster, but it is not aimed at you. The red-haired young man hurriedly explained. Anyway, I don't care. You find a way for me. If you can't arrange some good tasks for me, I will dismantle your mercenary association. Do you believe it? Princess Avril smiled coldly. Your Highness, aren't you forcing others? The red-haired young man said with a sad face. Anyway, I don't care. Just as the two people were arguing endlessly, the middle-aged man in golden armor walked into the mercenary association from the backyard. The middle-aged man in golden armor hesitated for a moment and finally walked towards the task release board. He took out the task scroll given to him by the black-robed wizard from his space ring. Oh my god, it was actually President Caesar who issued the task himself. Many student mercenaries couldn't help but exclaimed when they saw the actions of the middle-aged man in golden armor. The red-haired young man walked towards the task release column, but when he saw the message on the task release column, an incredible expression appeared on his face, and he murmured to himself, "Master, what are you going to do? You dare to issue such a task, aren't you afraid of getting into trouble? Explore the treasures of the Zur Empire, which was destroyed 100 years ago, and find the Holy Crown, the national artifact of the Zur Empire. Mercenary level requirements, none." After seeing the attached half-treasure map, many mercenaries became excited. The treasures left behind after the fall of an empire are definitely not something that ordinary people can imagine. This task is not bad. There is no level limit. Besides, if we can really find the treasure of the Zur Empire, my father will be very happy. Princess Avril's eyes curved into crescents. Your Highness, I think it's better for us not to accept this mission. You know, the Oraba Forest is a forbidden place. No one who goes deep into the Oraba Forest can return safely. Amy persuaded. Amy, don't worry. From the half of the treasure map, the treasure of the Zur Empire is not too deep. Princess Avril said without caring. But, there is no but. As the captain of the Princess Mercenary team, I have the right to decide our mission. Princess Avril said proudly. At this moment, Yunfan thought deeply after seeing the content of the mission. Although he didn't know much about this world, he had heard about the legend of the Oraba Forest. He felt that there was definitely something wrong with this mission. If he got the treasure map, he would definitely hide it and secretly go treasure hunting. At this time, President Caesar of the Mercenary Association looked at Avril. Princess Avril, as an old member of the Mercenary Association, I have to remind you that, although this mission does not limit the mercenary level, it is very dangerous for rookies like you who have no mercenary experience, so I hope that your Highness can consider it carefully. Uncle Caesar, you are underestimating me. Besides, I have this thing with me. If there is any danger, I can definitely take them away. Princess Avril said with a smile, and took out a golden magic scroll. Is this a scroll for space transmission? Caesar hesitated slightly. It is this thing. You should be relieved now. Princess Avril said with a smile. This app, register Her Highness. President Caesar ordered the red-haired young man. Okay, Master. Looking at the backs of Avril and others who had registered and left happily, President Caesar showed a trace of embarrassment on his face, muttering to himself, I hope nothing happens to these little guys, otherwise it will be really troublesome. Master, why do you issue such a task? The red-haired young man was puzzled. This app, some things are no longer under my control. Caesar's eyes were slightly sad. Following the footsteps of Princess Avril, the 5 teenagers walked out of the Mercenary Association and walked towards the direction of the Oraba Forest. The Oraba Forest is very large and no one knows where its end is. However, people are used to regarding an area of about 100 miles as the periphery of the Oraba Forest. The entire Oraba Forest is almost covered by primitive jungle. There is no direction in the jungle, so many adventurers lose their way and get lost in the primitive forest. Large tracts of primitive jungle extend from this end of the academy wall to the depths of the forest. This jungle is like a species from the Jurassic period on Earth, with bushes and many tall trees that tower into the sky like a giant that can't be hugged by 3 or 5 people. There are gnarled tree roots, vines, and plant roots everywhere. These bushes are the death thorns, one of the main tree species in the Oraba forest. The death thorn is a magical plant with water and undead attributes. It releases a large amount of death water curtain by absorbing the water element in the air and the death attribute in the land. So the Oraba forest is always filled with the fog of death. Only at noon, when the sun is scorching, the Oraba forest will be released from the death water curtain and become somewhat lively and energetic. Chapter 20 Wind Wolves. Due to the death water curtain, people's vision is greatly obstructed. Therefore, the visibility in the jungle is less than 200 meters. Many things can only be discovered when approaching. Yunfan was a little dazed. He didn't expect that Princess Avril actually brought them to the place where he was abandoned before. This can also be said to be the place where he was reborn. Looking at the lifeless forest, Avril was a little scared, but the little girl thought of her identity as the captain and forced herself to cheer up. She ordered the people around her, we have officially entered the Oraba forest in front. So everyone must be more careful. Bennett, Elvis, Kim, the three of you lead the way. Amy and Ant will provide cover and support, and Amelia will be ready to treat at any time. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim, who were standing in the front of the group, quickly took action after hearing Avril's order, and took out their weapons one by one and became alert. Avril nodded with satisfaction when she saw this, but I hope our trip won't be in vain. Seeing Avril's orderly orders, Yunfan nodded involuntarily. Although this girl didn't look reliable, there was no problem with the allocation of personnel. The warriors opened the way, the mages provided output support, and the light mages healed. Oh, right. Avril seemed to have thought of something. She patted her head, took out a few magic scrolls from her space ring, threw them to Yunfan, and said, Dante, you probably don't have anything to defend yourself. These magic scrolls are given to you as a reward for this mission. Yunfan hesitated. Your Highness, this is not good. Avril was a little dissatisfied when she heard Yunfan's words. These are just ordinary goods. For me, they are not enough for one battle. Just take them when I tell you to. Yunfan hesitated for a moment, then took the magic scrolls. Thank you very much, Your Highness. As they went deeper into the aura of the forest, the gloomy and terrifying feeling became stronger and stronger. From time to time, some weak first level monsters appeared. Although these monsters did not pose much threat to them, they also brought a lot of trouble. The corpses of first level monsters were nothing to these nobles. They could not be exchanged for much money at all. So after killing these monsters, these teammates did not deal with these low level monster corpses. As a slave, Yunfan was naturally not like these noble team members. He followed the principle that no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat. He showed his spirit of not fearing hardship and fatigue, dismembered the killed monsters, collected some slightly valuable bones and blood, and tied them to his body. Looking at the space rings on the hands of these nobles, Yunfan had an impulse to rob them. If he had a space ring, he would not have to give up many valuable things. Dante, what are you collecting these things for? They can't be sold for much money at all. Bennett said with some disgust. Yunfan smiled slightly and said nothing. Bennett, you kid, you hit a soft nail, right? Elvis said with some gloating. Bennett snorted coldly. Elvis, you want to be beaten, right? Okay, don't argue here. Don't you know where we are now? Amy scolded in a delicate voice with angry eyes and frowned. You still have the mood to mess around here. Kim looked at the few people helplessly and said, this is the Oraba forest, not the so-called tests and assessments in the academy. I don't want to collect your bodies later. I just hope that when you encounter a situation, you can calm down a little and think about how to survive. As a veteran with several expedition experiences, Kim has the most say among these people. The two stopped arguing after hearing Kim's words. After Kim finished speaking, he turned and left. When Bennett and Elvis wanted to ask Kim about the truth, they found that Kim had entered the state of fighting again. And this time, his opponent turned out to be a second level wind wolf. This time, almost everyone saw it clearly. Bennett and Elvis jumped down in a hurry and joined the battle. Wolves are a kind of social creatures. When a local wind wolf appeared, Yunfan had an ominous feeling. Sure enough, as he expected, the 7 people were surrounded by the wind wolf pack soon. Everyone be careful. Yunfan was shocked to see a larger blue wolf that was far away just now, walking towards them with slow steps. The dim grey light stretched its back, and it looked like a lonely night elf. As the blue giant wolf buried itself in the shadow of the trees, the giant wolf that was originally in Yunfan's side suddenly disappeared again, and there was no trace of the giant wolf in the whole sad night. But what kind of skill is this? Among all the systems that Yunfan knows, only the wind system can use the wind element to move quickly, which is already very remarkable in Yunfan's eyes. But the giant wolf doesn't know what kind of magic it is. It seems to be able to escape into the shadows and move quickly. It's simply cheating. It's so wasteful. It would be great if I could do it. Damn, this giant wolf doesn't seem to be ordinary. I heard that some magical beasts with strong talents will have attribute mutations or awaken dual element, but I don't know what kind of situation this giant wolf in front of me belongs to. This time, it was really bad luck. This giant wolf looked so fierce. That's the Wind Shadow Wolf King, a mutant of the Wind Wolf, with the strength of the 3rd or even 4th level. and because of the mutation, it has the dual attributes of wind and shadow, and it comes and goes without a trace, and has an extraordinary speed. Kim's face had turned pale, and he said with horror. They had to touch the topic of Warcraft all the time in the academy, and they had practiced fighting various Warcraft countless times in their minds. However, when they really felt the eyes of the Wind Shadow Wolf King shooting over, their minds went blank. Fire at full power, hunt the Wind Wolf. With the order of Princess Avril, several people did not dare to be negligent, and all of them showed their magical powers. Yunfan, Avril and Amy's magic was completed almost at the same time. Although the magic of the three people was good, it was obviously not enough to use the first level magic to deal with the second level Wind Wolf. The magic of the three people hit the Wind Wolf and knocked it to the ground directly. Chapter 21 Fusion Magic. However, the three knocked down Wind Wolves stood up again very quickly, and they rushed towards the three people with their teeth bared, as if they were crazy. Amy and Ivy seemed to be scared, and forgot to dodge for a moment. What do you two want to do? Yunfan shouted loudly. After hearing Yunfan's scolding, the two people reacted, and hurriedly took a step back. Dark Ball. Yunfan muttered, and waved the magic wand in his hand. Two dark balls formed in front of him, and hit the two flying wind wolves respectively. The two dark balls fell on the position, where the wind wolf was injured again. With the help of the last injury, Yunfan's dark balls left corrosive damage on its body. The feeling of pain made the two wind wolves almost crazy, and they bit towards Yunfan regardless of everything. At this critical moment, Yunfan took out the magic scroll given by Avril and released it. A shield made of earth element appeared in front of him, blocking the two crazy wind wolves. However, the powerful impact also pushed Yunfan back several meters. Dark Ball. Yunfan first breathed a sigh of relief, then waved the magic wand in his hand again, releasing two dark balls to the wounds of the two wind wolves again. The superposition of three injuries is not as simple as 1 + 1 + 1. Taking a deep breath, several people calmed down their nervous mood and gave themselves courage. At this time, they could no longer care about being afraid. The god of death was very close to them, and they might lose their lives if they were not careful. Avril raised the magic wand in her hand and quickly recited the magic spell. At the moment the spell ended, Avril's pupils were imprinted with red light, and inexplicable flames surged around Avril. Under Avril's control, the blue flame gradually deepened, until it became a black flame, evaporating all the air around her. Under Avril's guidance, the black flame flew towards a wind wolf, leaving a black trail in the void. This trail looked extremely charming, and everyone could see it clearly, and feel its weirdness and power. Dark flame, roar. Avril shouted, and the black flame light around her body reached the most weird level. The black flame was like a maggot attached to the wind wolf, and in just a moment the wind wolf turned into ashes. So powerful, is this dark magic? Yunfan asked. This is a mixture of dark and fire magic, Amy explained. Perhaps feeling the threat of Avril's magic, the Wind Shadow Wolf King's body once again turned into a blurred shadow and swiftly passed through, running in the wind, and the speed of the Wind Shadow Wolf King was getting faster and faster. The surrounding environment was no resistance to the Wind Shadow Wolf King, and the Wind Shadow Wolf King ran wildly. Be careful, defend. Yunfan's face changed, and he hurriedly reminded. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim all stared at the Wind Shadow Wolf King, and Amelia's eyes widened. The Wind Shadow Wolf King came to Avril, stomped his hind legs hard, crushed a piece of grass, and jumped up at the same time, and the weeds and bushes separated like waves. Ah! Avril's face had turned pale. Avril faced the Wind Shadow Wolf King, and the wind whistled in her ears, and her face was blown a little deformed. The Wind Shadow Wolf King was like a ghost, and its body drew an arc between the jungles, approaching Avril little by little. Almost at this moment, everyone's heart was in their throats. Everyone was very clear about the strength of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Once it was attacked, Princess Avril's life would be in danger. Are you stupid? Yunfan roared angrily. At this time, Yunfan rushed towards Avril, pulled Avril's arm hard, and pulled Avril back a few meters, barely avoiding the attack of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Avril clenched her magic wand at this moment, and her sweat had soaked her magic robe. Roar. Because Avril was the only one who was hurt, because he did not achieve his expected goal, The Wind Shadow Wolf King was furious again at this moment, and several wind blades were released from his bloody mouth. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim did not think much and stood in front of Avril. They did not dare to let Avril get into trouble. You know, Avril is the most beloved daughter of the Emperor of the Nurgle Empire. If she is really hurt, their family may be implicated. The heart of the Emperor cannot be guessed. As nobles of the Empire, the three people naturally have no shortage of money, so the defense of their equipment is still good. If it were just civilians who were attacked by the Wind Shadow Wolf King, I'm afraid they would have died long ago. But even so, the three of them were in a terrible state. The places on their bodies that were not covered by armor were more or less injured. Avril glared at the Wind Shadow Wolf King fiercely and raised her hand to hold up a white magic scroll from the space ring. The moment the magic scroll was taken out, the Wind Shadow Wolf King showed a trace of vigilance on his face. As a beast, it could sense the existence of danger, and it felt the breath of endangering its life on the magic scroll. Go to hell. Avril showed a trace of anger on her face, and then she injected her mental power into the magic scroll in her hand. The magic scroll spontaneously ignited the moment it received the mental power, and then a flaming dragon appeared above the igniting magic scroll. The huge flaming dragon was like a god descending from heaven, hovering in the air with infinite momentum. You can also say that you deserve to die for forcing me to use the 5th level magic scroll, the roar of the flame dragon. Avril sneered. After hearing Avril's words, except for Yunfan, almost everyone present showed a look of heartache. The 5th level magic scroll can be said to be very rare, and its value is even immeasurable. The difficulty of making a magic scroll increases tenfold with each level increase. In the eyes of everyone, after Avril used the 5th level magic scroll, it was a foregone conclusion to deal with the Wind Shadow Wolf King, but everyone ignored Avril's own level. He was now like a toddler, holding an AK-47, and couldn't play at all. Avril's mental strength was too weak to maintain magic, let alone order the flame dragon to attack the Wind Shadow Wolf King. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Magic Backlash. Come on, princess. Get rid of this Wind Shadow Wolf King. Yunfan did not shout like these people, but observed carefully. After he saw Avril's pale face, he could not help but feel uneasy. Damn it. Avril has no strength to support this magic. If she continues like this, she will probably be attacked by the magic soon. Yunfan said gloomily. What? At this time, everyone reacted and their faces changed drastically. Avril's magic flame dragon flew towards the Wind Shadow Wolf King tremblingly, but because of Avril's strength, the speed of the flame dragon was too slow, and the Wind Shadow Wolf King easily avoided the attack of the flame dragon. At the moment, when the flame dragon missed, Avril's mental power was overconsumed, and in just a moment, the flame dragon disappeared without a trace. Just as Yunfan expected, at the moment, when the flame dragon disappeared, Avril was attacked by the magic, and collapsed to the ground. Arsehole. How could this happen? Bennett, Elvis, and Kim almost simultaneously blocked Avril's way again. Amelia took this opportunity to come to Avril's side and cast a recovery spell. Then she wiped Avril's forehead with her hand, and breathed a sigh of relief. The mental power is overconsumed, but the backlash is not serious. A short rest should be able to recover. At the same time, the figure of the Wind Shadow Wolf King disappeared again in the mist in the forest. We can't go on like this. The shadow system has always come and gone without a trace. With the addition of a wind system, we can't catch the figure of the Wind Shadow Wolf King at all. Yunfan said in a gloomy and terrifying tone. What do you think we should do now? The shadow system. If I'm not mistaken, the shadow system should actually be considered a variant of the light system. Yunfan speculated with some uncertainty. Although no one knows how the shadow system is formed, one is light and the other is dark, how can it be a variant of the light system? Bennett shook his head. Because there is light, there is shadow. Yunfan simulated the trajectory of the Wind Shadow Wolf King in his mind, and suddenly a flash of inspiration came to him. Amelia, right? Ji-yun suddenly cast his eyes on Amelia on the side and said seriously, I hope you can do me a favor and use the light ball to illuminate the surroundings. But, the light ball, I'm afraid it can't cause any damage to the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Amelia was a little hesitant. As the first magic mastered by the light system, the light ball has no attack power at all. It has always been nicknamed Magic Lamp. She didn't want to waste her mental power. Believe me. Yunfan gave Amelia a firm look. Okay. Noble and sacred light element, obey my call, light ball. Just when Amelia was about to complete the magic, Yunfan clearly felt a commotion not far away. There. Yunfan pointed in a direction and said loudly. Almost everyone's eyes were focused on the direction Yunfan pointed. To everyone's surprise, the Wind Shadow Wolf King, who had disappeared without a trace, suddenly appeared in the direction he pointed. We actually found the trace of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Several people exclaimed in disbelief. Now is not the time for you to sigh. Warriors pull monsters, major support. We must end the battle as soon as possible. Otherwise the longer it takes, the more disadvantageous it will be for us. Yunfan said seriously. Although he had never experienced a battle before, in his previous life, he would play some online games in his spare time, so he naturally knew how to allocate a team reasonably. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim hesitated for a moment, but still listened to Yunfan's words. The three of them worked together to surround the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Facing the Wind Shadow Wolf King, there was already some confusion without anyone leading in front, but fortunately Yunfan reacted in time this time. Don't attack there randomly, concentrate your firepower on its eyes. If you can blind its eyes, our chances of winning should be much higher. After hearing Yunfan's words, these people's eyes lit up. However, the Wind Shadow Wolf King seemed to understand Yunfan's words and stared at everyone with caution. What should we do now? This beast is so slippery. Elvis cast his eyes on Yunfan. For some reason, he felt that Yunfan was a trustworthy person. Boss, you are a third level intermediate warrior. What is the point of asking me, a first level magic apprentice? Yunfan said unhappily. I have a feeling that it is absolutely right to believe you. Yunfan was a little puzzled. Now even he himself had no confidence in himself. I don't know why this Elvis had so much confidence in him. To practice fighting, you have to fight by yourself. How can the academy teach you? But Her Royal Highness the Princess must have suffered a lot. I think it's time for us to take action now. Otherwise, if Her Royal Highness the Princess is really seriously injured, we can't afford it. Just when Yunfan and his men were struggling to fight against the Wind Shadow Wolf King, a man in a green wizard robe looked at a man dressed as a warrior next to him and said, wait a little longer. I always feel that the little guy named Dante is not simple. There is not even a panic expression on his face. Who knows if this little guy has any tricks up his sleeve? The man dressed as a warrior said. Henry, I think you are overthinking. How can a magician at the level of magic apprentice defeat the Wind Shadow Wolf King? The man in the blue wizard robe shook his head, with a mocking smile on his face. That's not necessarily true. Have you forgotten the boss back then? Do you think everyone is as perverted as the boss? The man in the blue wizard robe sighed softly. If the boss is still here, maybe he has broken through to the saint level. Since you think this kid is so powerful, why don't we take a look? With you and me here, there won't be any unexpected situations. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim, with the support of Amy and Yunfan's magic, have been fighting with the Wind Shadow Wolf King for more than 20 rounds, but neither of them can do anything to the other. Hey, this kid's magic. As a wizard, Wallace's attainments in magic are not comparable to Henry's. He has now seen the difference in Yunfan. Chapter 23 Fierce Battle. Did you find anything? You are not a magician, so you can't see it. The speed at which this kid releases magic is somewhat incredible. Wallace said thoughtfully. Incredible? How incredible can it be? The speed at which this kid releases magic is really far behind yours. Henry said carelessly. Boss, don't you look at his strength and my strength? Can we compare? Wallace rolled his eyes, then said seriously, although you are not a magician, you should have heard that if you want to cast a magic spell, you must understand the essence of magic. That thing can only be understood but not explained. I didn't realize it until I became a great magician. I mean, this kid has already realized the essence of magic. How old is he? Besides, don't you know who he was before he became a magic apprentice? Henry obviously didn't trust him. Then tell me why he can shorten the magic spell. Wallace questioned. This? Wallace, you are a magician, and I'm not, so how do I know? Anyway, I think that kid can't realize the essence of magic. Henry said. I also think it's impossible, but the facts are right in front of me, and I have to believe it. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Let's see what this kid can do to get out of this predicament. If this kid can get out of danger, I will give him a chance and let him join the court magician corps. Wallace said. Then you have to ask them if they are willing. Don't let them refuse in the end. Henry mocked. Humph. Then tell me, why is this kid unwilling? You also know his original identity. Being able to become a court magician is definitely a blessing he has cultivated in his previous life. Although these little guys are not very strong now, they have learned to help each other. If they are well trained, they will definitely be pillars of society. Henry looked at Bennett, Elvis, and Kim and had already developed a love for talent. Henry, I'm not saying anything bad about you, but you'd better not go after these three. They are not ordinary nobles. Bennett is the only son of finance minister, Elvis is the second son of General William, and Kim's identity is even more mysterious, even if we don't really know his identity. Do you think you can give them what they want? Henry stopped talking, because he knew what Wallace said made sense. Hey, that's the second level magic frost spell. I didn't expect that this little girl Amy has broken through the second level and become a primary magician. The white frost was lingering around Amy, and Wallace saw the magic released by Amy at a glance. I saw some tiny frost spread rapidly like elves, covering the ground and spreading to the limbs of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. This little girl is indeed worthy of Audrey's attention. When I go back, I will tell her about this. Henry smiled slightly. I think it's better for me to talk about this matter. After all, Audrey and I are both magicians. We have a common language. We are not like some people who are just rough. Wallace glanced at Henry. Wallace, you sissy, when this matter is over, we will fight for 800 rounds to see who is stronger. If you have the guts, you bastard, don't use wind magic to escape. Henry threatened viciously. Big barbarian bear, are you stupid? You want me, a risky magician, to fight against you, a warrior? No wonder Audrey hates you so much. Sissy, don't blame me. The two of us are just the same. Audrey has always had only the boss in her heart. She has never looked at you more. These two people are definitely brothers in distress. From their conversation, it can be seen that they both like a woman named Audrey, but that woman already has someone in her heart. Look, Amelia is not bad. She has mastered the holy healing technique. But think about it, this is normal. This little girl is the granddaughter of that man, influenced by her family. She has a sacred temperament. Her psychological quality and adaptability are stronger than the others, said Wallace. Light magic is slightly different from other magic. Almost all light magicians come from the church. They believe in the God of Light and are one of the most powerful forces in the entire continent. And the person they are talking about is also famous in the church. Patrick, one of the 4 cardinals of the church. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim stood in front of the Wind Shadow Wolf King, facing the Wind Shadow Wolf King from a distance. The water power controlled by Amy turned into ice crystals and covered the limbs of the Wind Shadow Wolf King, making its speed not as fast as at the beginning. If this continues, they will lose sooner or later. I don't think there is any point in watching it anymore, Wallace said with a little disappointment. That's not necessarily true. Have you forgotten what our boss told us? No one can predict the final outcome until the last moment. Henry said calmly. You think a miracle will happen to them, but why don't I see the possibility of a miracle happening to them? Wallace shook his head. When the Wind Shadow Wolf King pounced on Bennett again, Yunfan used a dark ball to go straight to the left eye of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. When the Wind Shadow Wolf King sensed danger, he gave up Bennett and chose to dodge. What should I do? Yunfan kept thinking. With my current mental power and magic base, I can't build a powerful magic, and I can't cause substantial damage to the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Even if I release the Dark Arrow, it's in vain. I can't even keep up with the speed of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Even if I hit the Wind Shadow Wolf King by chance, I'm afraid I can't even break through the defense. Damn it, I didn't expect that the first genius scientist of China, was forced to this point by a beast, after being reborn in another world. Feeling that his mental power was already stretched to the limit, Yunfan was full of helplessness. It's absolutely impossible to defeat the Wind Shadow Wolf King with my current dark element alone. By the way, just now, I've all used fusion magic, and the power of the magic is definitely beyond the normal magic of the same level. If I can also release fusion magic, can I cause damage to the Wind Shadow Wolf King? Chapter 24, Fighting the Heavens. But I don't know how to release fusion magic. Yunfan frowned, and then began to simulate Avel's process of releasing fusion magic in his brain. Damn it, God of War. Am I going to die here? I haven't married, or had children yet. Bennett cursed while resisting the attack of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. So that's it. The so-called fusion magic is to make magic bases of different attributes produce magic resonance at the same time, and fuse the magic element together. Because of the different attributes of various element, new changes occur during the fusion process. Just when Yunfan's face showed an expression of "so this is it," he suddenly found that the speed of the Wind Shadow Wolf King's movement suddenly increased, as if it had completely adapted to their attack frequency, and it had no effect on it approaching them. Fuck, how did this guy become more powerful? Bennett was stunned. Amy's face suddenly became very ugly. Her frost spell was at least a second level magic, which could easily freeze the junior warriors in place. In Amy's opinion, she could buy more opportunities and time for other companions. Who knew that the Wind Shadow Wolf King had adapted so quickly, and the strength of his limbs was so strong, that the ice crystals could not stop him. We really have to take action this time, otherwise, these little guys will be completely finished. Crack. Stepping on the ice crystal, the Wind Shadow Wolf King moved forward quickly. Its target this time was very clear, that is, Amy, who made it feel very annoying. The Wind Shadow Wolf King raised its wolf claws high in front of Amy, and grabbed it fiercely. Hey. Elvis took a step to block in front of Amy. A burst of power rushed towards Elvis, rolling up the flying sand and rocks, and knocked Elvis out. Under this shock, he fell directly to the ground, fell on his back, and climbed up with difficulty. Elvis. Amelia ran over in a hurry, but found that the armor on Elvis was tattered, and full of holes, and there was a deep claw mark on his body. Amy, who finally came to her senses, was so scared, after seeing this scene, that she kept crying like a helpless child. Her crying cast a shadow on everyone's heart. The Wind Shadow Wolf King walked towards Amy with a proud step like a general returning from a triumphant victory. In the eyes of the Wind Shadow Wolf King, there is only the law of the jungle, but no mercy for women. It follows the law of survival of the fittest. Even Elvis, a mid-level warrior, became covered in blood after suffering that blow, and even lost his fighting power, let alone Amy, or Thin Magician. The shadow of death shrouded Amy's heart, and she was now at a loss. Why are you still standing there stupidly? Do you want to feed the Wind Shadow Wolf King? Run. Yunfan shouted loudly. While shouting, Yunfan ran towards Amy with a ruthless heart, trying to pull her out of the attack range of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Idiot. In the eyes of Bennett, Elvis, and Kim, Yunfan's behavior just now was really idiotic. You are a magician, not a warrior, and you actually want to fight with the Wind Shadow Wolf King in close combat. Even with their strength, it is impossible to shake this monster that is more than one level stronger than them. Although they think Yunfan is very idiotic, when they think of his situation, they think Yunfan is very remarkable. As teammates in a team, Bennett, Elvis, and Kim did not want to see Yunfan being killed. Otherwise, if they lose another combat power, their final outcome will be certain death. At this critical moment, as warriors, the speed of the three people is naturally much faster than Yunfan, and the three people almost blocked in front of Yunfan at the same time. Bennett, Elvis, and Kim were also seriously injured after being hit by the Wind Shadow Wolf King. If that attack had hit Yunfan directly, Yunfan would have been killed. Amy had come back to her senses at this moment, raised her magic wand high, and muttered quickly, "Water element coexisting with the gods, in my name, I ask you to obey me, become my warriors, elemental giants, and crush all those who stand in my way." I didn't expect to see such a big surprise. Miss Amy's talent is too strong. She can use special magic at this age. Special magic is different from ordinary magic. Ordinary magic bases exist in the same plane, but special magic is different. It exists in these 3 axes. This kind of magic has a special structure. Only a few extremely talented magicians can construct this kind of special magic. Generally speaking, there will be only one among more than 200 magicians. The water element giant walked towards the Wind Shadow Wolf King. Perhaps because Amy was too nervous, the water element giant's attack did not hit the Wind Shadow Wolf King. After missing the target, the water element giant opened its big mouth, and a fierce stream of water gushed out of its mouth, shooting towards the Wind Shadow Wolf King. However, the water stream did not hit the target this time and only hit the feet of the Wind Shadow Wolf King. The Wind Shadow Wolf King did not care about the water stream at all, because the hit rate of these water streams was too low, and it did not pose any threat to it at all. The Wind Shadow Wolf King continued to run towards Amy and Yunfan. Beast, taste my crazy fighting spirit. Wolf God transformation. Jin roared, and countless fighting spirits burst out from his body. Under Jin shouting, these fighting spirits turned into a giant wolf, and flew towards the Wind Shadow Wolf King. The Wind Shadow Wolf King finally couldn't move anymore. When fighting with the Dalki giant wolf, he actually suffered a lot. He was bitten by the Dalki giant wolf and let out a low roar of pain. The fierce eyes of the Wind Shadow Wolf King swept towards Kim with boundless hatred. Roar. The Wind Shadow Wolf King opened his bloody mouth and roared at Kim. Suddenly, the wind blew violently, sand and rocks flew, and several wind blades shot out in the roar and flew towards Kim. Kim, get out of the way. Amy saw this scene and shouted in panic. Damn it. Fighting the sky. Kim's voice was low, and the Dalki blade in his hand was raised diagonally. The Dalki blade twisted and turned in the air, just like a huge rock suddenly thrown into the lake, causing endless ripples. This strange ripple appeared in front of Kim, and the air also shook. Chapter 25 Fusion Attempt. This is Dao Pio Kankaiang. Could it be that Kim is from that clan? I didn't expect that they would be reborn after such a long time. Henry saw Kim's fighting skills. His expression was full of complexity. If it is really that clan that has reborn, it is not a bad thing. Good thing. Have you forgotten what happened that year? Fighting key slash. Bennett's body forced his body to get close to the Wind Shadow Wolf King, holding the hilt of the sword with both hands and slashing at the Wind Shadow Wolf King fiercely. Everyone must not panic now. Bennett immediately said to everyone, after showing his amazing strength. Everyone has seen that Amy's magic is not without any effect. As long as we can work together, we will definitely be able to repel this Wind Shadow Wolf King. As Bennett said, the Wind Shadow Wolf King had become slow after being hit by Amy's frost technique. This was undoubtedly an encouraging news for everyone. For a while, everyone calmed down and thought about countermeasures. So this is how it is. After a short period of thinking and simulation in his brain, Yunfan has now touched some of the ways of fusion magic. He tried to use his mental power to guide the dark element base and the colorless space element base. Under the intervention of his mental power, the two element bases slowly trembled. This was a good sign. He could no longer care about many things. He forced the magic element in the air of the two element bases to resonate. For a moment, the aura around Yunfan's body changed completely and became a little ethereal. Yunfan felt that he seemed to have become an unstable bomb at this moment, and there was a possibility of explosion and death at any time. He forced his mental power to suppress this feeling. As the best among wolves, the Wind Shadow Wolf King was very sensitive to danger. The change in Yunfan's momentum made it nervous. It seemed that it couldn't figure out how it suddenly became like a tiger when it was just a sheep. It stared at Yunfan vigilantly, as if it wanted to see his every move clearly. At this time, Yunfan felt that he had reached a limit. If he didn't release the weird magic he guided, he might really die. Damn it, let's fight. Anyway, the worst that can happen is death. Yunfan said fiercely in his heart. Go. There was no earth-shattering or shaking as imagined. A black and colorless magic ball slowly flew out from in front of him. Oh my god, what the hell is this? Even Yunfan himself couldn't help complaining. Henry, is this the miracle you mentioned? Why do you feel like a weak chicken? She Wallace sneered. Just when everyone was disappointed, the black and colorless magic ball flashed strangely, like a little elf, moving from one point to another in an instant. Is this teleportation? Wallace muttered to himself with some uncertainty. Almost everyone stared at the strange magic ball sent by Yunfan, wanting to see what the magic ball actually did. The strange magic ball flashed a few times in the air and disappeared in an instant. At the same time, the Wind Shadow Wolf King suddenly fell to the ground with blood flowing from all 7 holes. Everyone, including Yunfan, had a look of confusion in their eyes. They had no idea what had just happened. Do you understand what happened? Henry asked Wallace, who was beside him, while staring at the body of the dead Wind Shadow Wolf King. I don't know what happened just now, but I think that fluctuation should be the fluctuation of space magic. Wallace paused for a moment before answering. Space magic? Could it be that this guy's not just a dark magician, but a dark and space magician? Is this possible? You know, time and space are the 2 most difficult magic element to master. The entire empire has only had one high-level space magician in the past 100 years. If this guy's really a space magician, then his value is immeasurable. Henry said in a deep voice. We must investigate this matter thoroughly. If necessary, we should report it to the Emperor. The fusion of dark element and space element exhausted all of Yunfan's mental strength. The reason why Yunfan could still stand there just now was because he used his willpower to support his body. Now that the crisis has passed, he relaxed all of a sudden, so he collapsed directly to the ground. When Yunfan woke up, several hours had passed. Ouch. The moment he woke up, a tingling feeling directly rushed into his mind. He felt that his head was very heavy. His current situation was not much better than when he just took over the body and was reborn. Dante, you finally woke up. If you don't wake up, we really don't know what to do. Amelia has been responsible for taking care of Yunfan. When she saw him wake up, she said with great joy, "What? My brother woke up?" A simple and honest voice came from not far away. Yunfan looked in the direction of the voice with difficulty and saw the tall and strong Kim looking at Yunfan with joy on his face. What happened to me? Yunfan asked weakly. What else can I do? You are just like the princess. You have consumed too much mental energy, causing the magic to backfire. Bennett looked at Yunfan with a complicated expression and said, thanks to you this time. Although we don't know how you killed the Wind Shadow Wolf King, there is no doubt that you saved all of our lives. Dante, what was the magic you used at that time? Amelia looked at Yunfan with great curiosity. Hearing Amelia's question, almost everyone's eyes were fixed on Yunfan, wanting to find out Yunfan's secret. Yunfan's method of killing the Wind Shadow Wolf King was too weird. Although they are teammates now, who can guarantee that they will always be friends? If you know the secret of Yunfan's killing of the Wind Shadow Wolf King, you may be able to find a way to crack his trick. Even if you become an enemy, you can save your life. This seems to be my own secret. I have no obligation to tell you. Yunfan said after a moment of silence. In this world full of crises, it is impossible for anyone to tell all his cards to others, and Yunfan naturally would not do so. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.